Hi,
Hey.
welcome to Off the Rack, the comic book show where we take books from the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then give you recommendations for comics that are coming out this week that we think you should buy. Also, sometimes we'll talk about a comic book related movie or just a movie we saw that we think is really cool and we talk about it. Today, we are going to be talking about both comics and movies. I'm very excited about that. We're going to talk about Venom 2. I almost called it Return of Venom, which is actually a comic book, but no. Talking about Let There Be Carnage. It's coming up soon enough. We're going to be talking about that later on towards the end of the show. We want to mention that this show is sponsored today by our friends over at Comixology. You can click the link in the description below this video and in the chat right now to check them out. If you are planning a visit to New York Comic Con, well, on Saturday, October 9th, do not forget to check out legendary comic book creators Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo as they discuss their first creator-owned title from Comixology Originals. Plus, you get ready to celebrate Scotttober this October with three, that's right, not one, not two, but 3 different Scott Snyder debut titles coming to Comixology Unlimited. You can try a 30-day trial of Comixology Unlimited to get access to all these Scott Snyder titles and over 40,000 comics, graphic novels, and manga. Go to Comixology.com/unlimited to get started today.
Yay!
And by the way, I got it, and I do use it, and it's actually worth it. So I say, check it out. I have 40,000 comics. I probably have like 20,000 at this point over all the books that we've been buying for this show.
You flexing?
No, I'm hyperbobolizing.
Oh.
I'm roberbling.
It's only when Ben's around.
That's right. But also, this show is duly sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching this show, you can watch us live right now over on youtube.com. And check out ComicPop Returns. We're still working on that vanity URL. But in the meantime, if you want to use a super chat, ask a question or comment, we'll read it here on the program like these fine people are today. Matthew Mosley says, love the new time. I can finally watch more often. By the way, best line in Venom 2, F this guy. Probably.
I know what they're talking about.
That's right. I get that reference. Fear and Loathing in general. This felt like a 2000s version of a 90s comic. Fair review. Can't argue with that.
That's fair.
Comics Kings, happy Monday. What are your thoughts on the Saga rumors? Haven't heard one yet, but in June of this year, Brian K. Vaughan himself said that Saga will be returning. I did do a quick Google search. I found absolutely nothing about it. Also, I checked Brian K. Vaughan's personal information, and I didn't find anything there either. So, with that regard, I can say that we are excited for the rumor that Saga is returning because that is what Brian K. Vaughan said as recently as June of this year.
Hilarious. I put in Saga rumor, and I was like, I probably should put a little more information. The first response was about a game I've played already. Then the sequel to it being shown at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So that's not what I needed.
Not what you needed.
Not what I needed.
Brian Rowlands, was I the only one who thought the actor portraying Mulligan was Donnie Wahlberg? The best part of the big reveal of Inferno might be Sinister's reaction. Well, we'll see what Tiffany thinks about that as we proceed further into this episode. I will say that I did think that the actor who did play Mulligan was terrible.
But we'll get into it.
But I will say that guy was not great.
We'll get into it. By the way, I saw a good morning from Japan.
Oh, well, konnichiwa.
I'd say Ohio.
Ohio. Let's jump into it.
That's my flex.
That's right.
It's not even a flex.
No, that you sort of speak
I don't
Japanese.
speak any. I can say that. I've done that.
So let's jump into it. What are some books that came out this week that we think
what are you going to
are
talk
good?
about?
Obviously, I want to talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 74. I'm going to talk about Inferno with you. So please.
Let's talk about this really quickly.
Talk about Batman.
I'm not getting into this.
Reptilian.
I literally remembered that I had this sitting. I'm like, I don't even remember if this came out this week or not.
It did. It came out this past week.
Thank you. You got this for me?
I did. Because we've been getting it all in physicals. So
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, so I literally read it right before we came on here because I was like, oh, I didn't read this. Much like I didn't read Amazing Fantasy. So
oh, that's right.
Listen, I had my choice. It was this or that. And it was so Marvel heavy for me this week.
You were like, hey.
That I was like, I'm gonna read this. This is so weird.
Hard to believe.
That's my review of this issue.
So weird. Batman Reptilian number 4 from Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp.
Weird.
It's been kind of. Would you say it's been weird, or would you say it's been pretty
No, it's been
standard so
no, because the
far?
weirdness before was from the feel that I couldn't quite place, which we then found out was that this was an older script that was
Yes,
made now.
for a different artist.
Right, and it had like that feel to it. I couldn't, I was like, it's so weird because it feels like it's from this time period, blah 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 blah. But like, turns out that's all fine. No. Now we're getting into like, this is just a weird book.
Right.
Like the story is just weird, and it's supposed to be. Yeah. I have no idea where this is going.
That's always a good sign.
I don't know what its message or point will end up being, if any. I don't know if I recommend it or not at this point. I couldn't tell you. I will say on the back, they always have like a quote from one of the characters in here.
Yeah.
And the quote is, "It's possible you might actually be female." Batman. That's what he says.
Yes.
Batman says that.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm gonna keep going with this because I'm
You're already in it.
I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I don't know what I'm gonna be winning.
Yeah.
But I hope I'm not losing.
Well, we're only losing whatever the cover price is for this book. But it's
It's, you know what though? It's like it's trip, man. It's a trip. All the way from the like sometimes spectacular art to the art where I'm like, what's even happening? I don't know.
Right.
That's where like sometimes I kind of wish I was looking at this digitally. Because of like brightness.
Sure.
And such. You can't brighten this and I can't zoom.
No, but you know what you can
Although
do?
occasionally, I don't know about you, have you ever had that moment where you physically have something and you try to pinch?
Yeah,
I try to do this.
It's happened to me before. I wouldn't say it's happened to me on a comic book.
It doesn't. Occasionally, my brain's like, "Do that," and I'm like, "I can't.
I can't
enhance."
But if you want to read it digitally, you can go to comicsology.com/unlimited to get started today.
You sure could. And this is quite the start here. I literally don't know what to say about this book. Because I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil anything that's happening in this thing.
In
this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
Is there a reptilian baby like there is on the cover?
There's a baby.
Oh, a baby. I've heard some rumors about this. I heard someone say that the reptilian is revealed in this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This issue delivers on that.
Finally.
I won't say anything more. This baby right here.
Yep.
Not featured.
Oh.
Not this baby.
That's a shame.
There is a baby.
There's only 6 issues of this series left.
6 issues left?
Well, no. There's only 6 issues of this series.
Oh, there's only 2
There's
more.
2 more left.
That's fair.
I can't imagine them stretching this out over 12.
I don't even know. So, Batman Reptilian, you might want to wait to the trade at this point. Or get your Comixology Unlimited subscription, and then you could just keep up with me here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be as baffled as I am.
Baffled?
Baffled.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah. I'm not even saying it's bad.
I know.
I'm just saying this issue, I was like,
what is happening?
What?
You're going to have to wait until December to finish the whole series, though.
What? Like, I feel like I missed an issue, but I don't think I did.
I know you didn't. Weird. Saul Moretti says, can't stay and watch cause of college. Cheers. Well, cheers to you.
Cheers,
keep up the good work.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And let's see here. Also, Grievoushish says, put that on the trade. Batman Reptilian. This is so weird. Comic Pop. I agree. Sometimes that's enough of an endorsement. You know, every time I hear about recommendations, people go, I need something that's weird. Well, Batman Reptilian is that for you. Tristan Levisk says, have you guys read Marvel's Alien from Phil Kennedy Johnson? I feel like that's almost a deliberate trigger, but yes, I've read at least the first 4 or 5 issues of that series. I think it is not the worst thing that's happened to the Alien franchise, but it's close.
I think the problem you have with it is you're not a fan of the art.
The art is just inexplicable.
And that's like,
it's inexcusable.
And that's, you know, unfortunately with a comic, it is very much like a 50-50 kind of split. And so that it's hard to get over that sometimes.
Yes. But the story itself, like, yeah, if it had been a better artist, the story might be able to be elevated.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty standard. It's pretty by the numbers. It's not terribly exciting. And the implication of like even a metaphorical alien queen in the form of like a Borg queen-esque anthropomorphic human woman just drives me nuts. Like
That's what's
anytime
happening?
it's visions that the character who's literally drawn after Salvador Larroca, I can't. It's just so angry.
That's fine.
And it's the same team. Like they finished the arc, and then the same team's going to continue. And I'm like, this is Spider-Man symbiote. It's the symbiote Spider-Man book all over again. Where I'm like, I really, really want to read that book, and I just can't get over the art. Dan V900. My big disappointment was finding out that Strange Adventure was delayed 2 weeks. I was so excited. I can't wait for the ending. Yeah, I thought I screwed up, honestly, when I went to buy it on Tuesday. And we talked about it on Monday. Monday we recommended it, and then on Tuesday I was like, Strange Adventure, where is it? And I couldn't find it. And because I went to the next week, I'm like, I must just read the next week,
Right.
by mistake. Went to the next week, gone. So then I assumed I just screwed up. I didn't go to the following week, where apparently, yes, Strange Adventures is not going to be recommended this week because it's not coming out this week. Instead, it'll be coming out the following week. So
accurate.
Yay. And Joey Amorum says, first time being able to catch you guys live in a few weeks. Happy to be back. Appreciate you guys. Well, we appreciate you, Joey. Thanks for being back, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I have more books that I read.
Well, let's hear them.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I read them.
Because you read them and you want to talk about them. And I don't blame you.
I got let's do some X-Men. We'll do like an X-Men sandwich
all right
here, because obviously Inferno will be probably one of the last ones, if not Spider-Man, one of those two.
Yeah.
And I have one non-X-Men book that I read.
All right.
Let's chat about Wolverine.
Why not?
By Ben Percy with art by, I'm like, is it Adam Kubert?
Adam Kubert.
I think it is.
You are correct.
Which Kubert is it? That's what gave me a pause there for a second. This like story that we've been going through has had to deal with Solemn from Ten of Swords and his connection to Wolverine and the Muramasa Blade. Introducing Sever, a pirate from Araco, and his potential future role of being Scourge. And this kind of wraps this story up, but leaving another door open, connected again to that Wolverine quest for the Muramasa Blade. Like, I really appreciate they're getting quite a bit out of that.
Yeah.
They did a few stories in between, obviously, like vampires and such. And now they're like, let's go back and tap that well.
Good.
I kind of like that. Solemn essentially has like a meet up with Wolverine, because don't forget, he got into Wolverine's room.
Yes.
They meet, have some wine. Wolverine doesn't really have any. Solemn's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I want your help, because like, you know, like Sever like takes, and Wolverine's like, yeah, it sounds like somebody else I know here. And he's like, he takes, and like he won't stop. And so like, even after he's done with me, like, you know, I'm sure he offered a deal with you, which he did.
Yeah.
He'll come for Krakoa. So it's like, it's in your, you know, desire to want to help me and get rid of him. So Wolverine, he strike a bargain. They put together a ridiculous pirate-esque plan in which like you see like Solemn, like, you know, tied to the mast pole, and then Wolverine is supposed to like cue him, and when he does, he frees Solemn, and then Solemn just jumps overboard. He's like, I told you someone was gonna get screwed by.
Thanks.
So like,
what a jackass.
It's just like, you know, Wolverine's just not getting help from anybody.
No.
And essentially his feeling, I agree with him. He's like, I'm just tired of you two. And I'm like, hooray. Yeah, I mean,
Me too.
I like the characters.
Yes, but you can understand why Wolverine would be sick of them at this point.
Because honestly, the fact is, it's like, you know, I made a deal with this guy, and then I made a deal with this guy, and then those guys made a deal behind my back.
Wolverine does not have patience for that kind of shit.
He has zero patience.
But he's also used to it. I mean, he's been a secret agent before. He should know this by now.
However, all of that frustration, I will say Percy pays it off, because Wolverine takes down Sever in like a really smart way. In which like he talks about how like it's very much how the mighty have fallen kind of thing, or that like, you know, I fought my fair share of big guys, and like there's always one thing they forget, and it's that like,
I'm a little guy.
Even the smallest axe can take down a redwood.
Okay.
And so like Wolverine takes him down. It's very earned.
Yes.
It feels good, and it's very earned.
As it should be.
And then Wolverine decides that like the way he's going to deal with Solemn is to call in a favor or some help.
Okay. All
And
right.
so he goes to the White Queen. Because like Solemn's whole thing, don't forget, is that he can like influence you to like it, make you think like you want him, and that's all he wants, right?
Okay. Uh-huh.
And he's just like, you can't lie to a telepath because that's what this guy does. And he's like, and honestly, you can't seduce the ultimate seductress.
Right.
And I'm like,
nice. Good call.
this is all right.
Yeah.
Taps her for some help. Talks to Tom Cassidy about locating Solemn because Solemn wanted a little piece of Krakoa. They find him. He not only has a piece of Krakoa, he has a whole bunch of like mutants there hanging out with him because he's influenced them. And
yes.
he's got a little cult going on, and he has a couple of eggs there.
From Egg?
Oh
God.
And a Cerebro helmet.
What? Well, this guy can't leave this island alive.
Well, instead, what happens is Emma walks in and she's in like her diamond form because he also took all the logic diamonds, so she wants those back. He also destroyed the Marauder and killed, So
yeah.
So she shows up and she's like, "You've never had to deal with a telepath before, have you?" And so she does, in fact, interrogate him.
Okay.
And we get like one of those logbooks at the end of like what she finds out. In fact, that he really would like to sleep with Wolverine.
Okay.
Which I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
Because Wolverine's was like, no.
No. I'm going to pass on that.
No. Your name is not Jean Grey.
Right. Or Scott Summers.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Or anyone else that Wolverine
has slept with.
Yes. But what we leave this at is that Wolverine ends up with both Muramasa blades, and the idea is that like he will honor the spirits of his former like tutor, teacher, whatever, in order to hopefully have their protection. But it brings it back around to the reason that those blades were created was for that sect of the Hand who have like the Hell Bride.
Yes.
Right? And how she was meant to marry, and those swords are going to be used to like bind their marriage. Well, she mad. Because her husband's dead.
Okay.
And so
she's going to come.
That's where we're leaving it. Is that like she's going to be the next thing for Wolverine to deal with. And I was like, that's fine. I really kind of appreciated this. I think folk were saying that this is Kubert's last issue, which is sad. But
I think we said that for the last 3 issues of Wolverine.
No, because it was supposed to be like the next 1 or 2 where he was going to finish the story. So
gotcha.
I think
it's
this
like,
might be it, but I hope not because I like his art quite a bit. But who knows what will come next?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this story.
Yeah.
I like this story, and Solemn's a good enemy for Wolverine because he can fight. He has the adamantium skin, but like also frustrates Wolverine at every turn because of like just their very different ways in which they handle things.
Yeah,
so I really like that quite a bit.
Yeah, nice. In keeping with keeping things balanced, by the way, I will say I did read Justice League number 68.
Oh, great.
I read the first part. I didn't read Justice League Dark because
I didn't know you bought it.
I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. But Justice League number 68, obviously, if you are not familiar, they crammed Justice League Dark into the back. And I say, while it's disrespectful, at least it's better than being canceled. But you got to buy this terrible book in order to read it, which I didn't, of course, which is hilarious. But Justice League 68, it's fine. It's dealing with the aftermath of the United Federation of Planets, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves, interacting with the Justice League. We get the new Hawkman, not like Carter, but the head, chief security officer or whatever of this group. And, we're dealing with more of Green Arrow's integration of Checkmate, and just super boring. Like, I'm super disappointed. There's a little bit of cute intrigue, and I'm like, I feel like if this was like 15 years old, Bendis would have just made it about this. And it was like, and it had very interesting, like I had lots of New Avengers vibes from this, but not in like, it didn't have the same kind of gravitas or fun. Maybe it's that old adage, like you can't go home again, but like, Naomi is a kid and her parents like allow her to be on the Justice League, but for their own, whim, like they're like, if you're gonna get hurt or there's a bad influence on you, we're not gonna let you do that.
Right.
And they really have misgivings about her being on this league, especially with like how much her life is in danger. And so we get a little bit of that, which is kind of cute.
Sure.
And like the Justice League is hilariously more okay with it. I wish we'd had more of that, but we get the impression like it's not like Batman's like, like you want to be on the league and you got to ask your parents' permission. That's lame. Like, no, Batman is like, they're your parents. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Wish I had some. But you also have a little bit of
technically did have some. It's
Yeah,
not
but
like you didn't have any.
Yeah, but like I didn't get them for very long.
Well, it's
I didn't get to be a teenager and like yell at my parents. I was just a kid.
you had Alfred.
Yeah, he did get to yell at Alfred. But
or whoever was training him.
Sure. Right. But we also get a little bit of like character interactions, like Shazam and Hippolyta are getting a little chummy. A little too chummy, I'm sure, for then Diana would be comfortable
Tina's
with.
Gonna show up.
No.
Mom, this is really embarrassing.
Yeah. But so that's a thing. It's just, who cares? It was just so like whatever. It's disappointing because like it has shades of greatness, or at the very least of the familiar, but it just doesn't get there. I was just reading it because I saw a page from it. What happens is sometimes I'll go on Reddit and like I'll see like a page out of context and I'll go like, all right, you got me. Like better than a 7-page preview is just like an intriguing page or panel. Like that's what they should be putting. Like if they're going to spoil anything for themselves, like post something that like out of context is just what? And then you got to read it. Like that would be helpful. Right. Obviously with spoiler tags and everything, but
sure.
I elected to spoil myself. And even then it wasn't terribly spoilerish. But
part of me wishes that since they can publish this digitally on like Comixology, is that they would split the two out.
Yes.
Because it costs them nothing to do that.
Right. But they're not going to do that.
I know, because like I would like to just pick up just the Justice League Dark stuff and like have all of it without having to purchase a majority of comic I'm not looking for.
Right.
For $5.
But then I have no idea like what the money, I guess that's not true. Like you do know how much money is allocated to whom, but it would only be digital. And but like they're not going to cram the Justice League Dark book when it's in trade with the Justice League trade.
I don't
like it's going to be separated when it's done.
I just wish.
Yeah, I hear you.
That I could just get it.
That Justice League Dark was its own book.
Yeah.
Which it was.
That's exactly what I wish.
T.Y. Vitier says, can't watch now, but we'll catch it later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let's see. John Holbrook helping us out in a big bad way. Thank you very much, John. Really appreciate it. If you did have a comment, I will look for it.
I don't know why I said like that, but that's what I said to that.
The new type JB Lee. How do you feel when tie-ins are better than the actual event? For me, even though Civil War was bad, Civil War 2 was bad. I think the Ms. Marvel tie-ins managed to somehow do the event justice, and it led to the Champions. Yeah, no, Secret Empire was a better tie-in book than main book. Civil War 2 had better tie-ins than the main book. And there's a lot of other examples of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I was just, when you said Secret Empire, I'm like, yeah, I liked, there was the tie-in I read.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wanted nothing to do with the main book.
No, and I don't blame you there.
How I feel about that, though, is that typically it means that they had to upset the apple cart for an unsatisfying event.
Yes, that's usually how it is.
That sucks.
So what else did you read?
I read Sword, obviously.
You did? Sword!
I said Sword, and that was what I thought of first. Percy D, you have destroyed my brain. Thank you. It was written by Al Ewing with art by
Villanova.
We're going to go with the last name only on that one. I will say, I know Skeety is off doing Inferno. He's missed.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't know this artist all that well. I just wasn't feeling it for this book. Also, not that I enjoyed this issue because it's about Storm and I like Storm.
Yes.
But if I was like so ready to have my Sword book back because its Sword has been stuck in tie-in hell while furthering its story and telling some damn good prose there.
Yeah.
It has been stuck in just doing tie-ins only to return with a character-specific issue.
Right.
So, in which most of our group does not show up.
Oh.
Like, it's really is just Storm, Frenzy's there, and Cora is there.
Okay.
WizKid's kind of there, but
yeah.
like they're not really doing much in terms of what Sword would be doing. Brand is in there, and I can't tell if they're not doing it in order to pace it out for something else.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes the most sense. If you're wondering, like, why is this very short issue so padded? They're probably saving it.
Yeah, I mean, what they do with this issue is make sure you understand like what Storm's role is with Arakko and why you might be seeing her in a Sword book, because obviously Sword now has two bases, one hovering outside of Earth and then one hovering outside Arakko.
Yes.
As like it's the keep is outside of Arakko as another way to keep track on now the capital of Seoul.
Yeah.
But Storm is the regent of Araco.
Yes.
And
Which is the name of the planet Mars, according to the mutants,
yes,
by the way.
yes, and has one of the seats of the Great Ring, because much like Krakoa has its Quiet Council, they have the
Yes.
Great Ring, which has 9 seats, although in this infographic we see that there may be 3 more that are hidden. I'm like, of course there is, because it's all a mirror. It's all a mirror.
Yes.
But she has she has the seat of All Around Us and an additional casting vote, making her the regent of Araco. So it's a powerful seat, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And Tarn, remember Tarn, the Uncaring?
Yes.
From Hellions fame?
Yeah.
He has a seat on the Great Ring Council as well. So if you're reading this, you haven't been reading Hellions. If you want to learn more about Tarn, you can pick up some of the Hellions books to get a feel for him. In particular, the ones that are tied into Ten of Swords, and then like the last few will give you a really good feel for who Tarn is and why he does not like us.
Okay.
Or like does not like Krakoa.
Yes.
Because that comes up.
Oh, good.
And they mention like go read like this issue to see what they're talking about. Because Storm's like, yeah, I know you showed up like on Krakoa.
Yeah.
This is after she had a challenge, because basically there's like read the Crucible. They have something similar to that.
Oh, on Araco?
Yeah, but because it's Araco, it's
yeah,
it's always hopping.
It's more extreme.
It's more challenge. Like this molten dude shows up and is like, I challenge the region of show up, show your face. Oh, she didn't show up. She's just late. And when she shows up, she defeats him immediately.
Okay.
Cool. So then inevitably, Tarn challenges her in a way so that she ends up challenging him. They go to the ring and they have a fight. And what I like about this, and the reason I want to talk about it at all without just kind of glossing it over, is because there is an element to this that immediately made me think of the X-Men animated series episode where she has to fight Callisto in the sewers with the Morlocks.
Right.
Which
is actually an old X-Men story as well, which like every episode of the X-Men animated series
I'm
probably
sure,
is.
but it made me think of specifically
like that.
Because
that was your first introduction to the X-Men at all.
It was.
So
and
not a bad
I can still hear her talking about like not like a not a crack of thunder, like you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
yeah,
like, but that's not what happens here, because Tarn's ability is much like Sinister, except that it's his mutation as opposed to Sinister's like hobby.
Yes. Yeah, it's what makes them. This is what makes him special.
Yeah, like he can manipulate genes. It's dangerous.
I'm surprised Sinister hasn't been like this guy.
He is.
Oh, that's right.
That's what happened in Hellions.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, dude," and that's what made him so mad. He was like, "Screw you." Like that's not.
Yeah.
He calls himself the Great Genomic Mage. Genomic.
Okay.
That's what he refers to himself as a little bit here or there.
Sure.
And he takes away her powers.
Oh no.
And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
She knows
how to hand-to-hand combat. She's got this.
She's fine. She's fine. She's got no problem here. But then he makes her into a monster. Like his vile loci.
Oh.
And I mean, she is not okay looking.
No.
And
that's
he's
cool.
like, if you come up to me and like whatever, I'll give you I'll fix it. I'll fix it for you, Storm. It's okay. It's okay. Earlier she had been gifted a knife by someone throwing it at her. He made it. And he threw it at her and she caught it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I appreciate the gift. And he's like, and it's like they were being playful in a way.
Yes, it wasn't a threat necessarily.
But she kept it, and even in the form that she's in, she jams it into his chest.
Yeah.
And she's like, so if I push even the slightest bit, this will go into your heart.
Right.
And he's like, but I could kill you with a thought. She's like, do you think you'll do it before I kill you?
Nice.
And I don't know if they determined what the Araco hold would be, or ability to utilize the resurrection protocols would be, but there's no saying that Tarn would be allowed to come back, right? So notably, he gives up, and he's like, and she rips it out of his chest, and she hobbles away, and he's like, I yield, but I still win because you don't have your powers anymore, and look at you.
Right, sure.
And she's just like, I'm still the regent of Araco.
Yeah.
What of it? And he's like, that's crazy. Don't you care? And she just smiles at him, and he just laughs. And he's like, okay, then you're my kind of people.
Right.
He's like, I thought you were of Krakoa, but clearly you're of Araco.
Right.
And I'm like, so Storm basically earns her respect from Araco.
Yeah.
what this has to do with anything that's happening
Nothing.
with Sword, other than it solidifies that like they might listen to Storm a little more so, like the Araco denizens.
Yeah.
But this wasn't really what I was hoping for. Getting back into Sword, I still enjoyed myself, though.
Sure. Okay.
Also, the art,
fine,
not great for me. Not comparatively to what it was. That's the problem.
Yeah, no,
that's really the problem is. So,
well, Danvy900 says I went down the rabbit hole yesterday and watched your Where to Start Reading Spider-Man video, which we did make several years ago. Hopefully, if you're ever on the fence, check it out. You mentioned Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Busick, which was the only one I didn't know. It is $40 brand new. Yes, it is. But I think it's also under different names, and you can get it. Like, I wouldn't buy it new. I'd buy it cheap or used, either through like, discountcomicbooks.com or at your local comic book store or at a Comic-Con. You can also get, I think Spider-Man Visionaries has it as well. So like it's elsewhere. It's out there. David Braille, Tiffany, have you ever checked out JL8 by Yale Stewart? Been meaning to tell you about it. Great and adorable Justice League comic. Tiffany, tell them all about JL8.
Yes, I have. I've checked it out. One of my favorite panels is easily Power Girl looking at Clark.
He's dapper.
Yeah. She's got this pudgy little cheek, and she pushes her hand up against.
We actually know Yale Stewart.
We do.
Like, we've met him over the years at different Comic-Cons.
Yes.
And so yeah, we knew it back when it was called Little League.
Yeah.
And then he got sued by the Little League Association and changed to JL8.
Yeah.
It's weird that DC never did anything,
or
either like against him or used it. Yeah, it's really it's odd.
Yeah.
But they had they must have had like a weird ceasefire,
I guess.
But yeah, it's great, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Grievous, this is dumb, but I thought in my headcanon, Pokemon is the 616, and both Sword and Shield got all in and argued over which game version was better.
Yeah, exactly. He's talking about the two, because there's Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yes.
And there's Sword and Shield in Marvel.
That's right.
Yeah, and if I guarantee you, there's people on both sides who play the other one.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Right, of course. What was it? Salem's Network, off topic, but any hype for the upcoming Halloween Kills movie? What are your favorite horror films? Thank you for your content. Well, thank you, Salem. Tiffany, you missed the trailer while we watched Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I did see Halloween Kills, the trailer. It looks like it's Halloween the Avengers.
Ba, 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 ba.
It's literally, it's like everyone who survived Michael Myers' attack from all the movies are coming together to form a team to kill Mike Myers. I'm like, that is so stupid.
If the idea there, though, is that they're hunting him instead of the other way around.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of both.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'd check it out.
I mean, it looks, it's a Blumhouse movie, so it's probably bad, but like, because on average, the ones we've seen, not great, but at least it's in canon with Halloween 1 and 2.
Right.
And the Halloween movie that they made that was like a soft reboot, also known as a C-boot.
Or a soft C-boot.
Or a soft reboot C-boot. But yeah, favorite horror movies? Go.
You go first.
The Thing.
That counts. I count that as a winter movie. That's a winter movie for me, but it's definitely a horror movie.
The Terminator.
That's okay.
Predator.
Sure, why not?
Alien.
Yeah, right. No, I love The Thing. I think The Thing's like a perfect movie for me.
Yeah. You're right.
But I also wouldn't say like I love Silence of the Lambs. I don't count that as a horror movie.
Yeah, but it kind of is.
That's like a movie I just throw on.
It's like a film. That's an Academy Award winning picture. Like,
no, I'm like I like the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, you do.
I was just thinking about the fact that how much like honestly I saw the first Paranormal Activity.
Mm-hmm.
That movie
holds up.
I gotta say like kudos to them for utilizing sound design in such a way that wasn't the jump scare like typical like Sting kind of thing.
Musical
like,
stings.
They created like fear with really just sound.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Smart.
It's pretty good, and I really appreciate that.
That's cool.
And anytime I'm put on the spot, I literally can't come up with anything. I don't know why.
Right.
I don't know why.
I've seen a lot of horror movies, but I wouldn't say any of them are my favorite. Like, I've seen a lot of I've seen at least 2 Hellraiser movies, and I think they're goofy as hell.
They are goofy as hell, but they're kind of fun.
Remember when, like, I think it was Pluto or maybe it was Cable was just showing all the Friday the 13th movies, and like we saw at least 4 of them in a row. That was a thing, and they're all fine.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was a huge Scream fan, but I liked it because it was subversive and it was more of a send-up of the genre.
I like the Vavitch.
The Vavitch. you
Oh, The
enjoyed a lot.
Descent.
The Descent.
I love The Descent.
You do.
I didn't realize how much I love The Descent. I love The Descent. I love the Ring.
Yes.
The Naomi Watts, The Ring.
Right.
There's something about that specific take on that movie
Mm-hmm.
that gets me.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with the score for that movie, the way in which it's shot,
Yeah.
the fact that it can be utilized to like exemplify the way in which the what is it? It's a specific scripting style. It has to do with an animal. I can't remember what it's called. Someone in the chat knows though. But yeah, I like that movie quite a bit.
20 Days Later was one of your favorite movies for a long
Love
time.
28 Days Later. I still do.
Yeah.
I still do. Malignant.
Malignant.
We watched Malignant.
Yeah.
I watched that. That for sure.
Right.
I'm gonna try to watch Midsummer. I missed that one.
Oh yeah, no thanks.
I didn't get a chance to see that, but I'd like to. Same with Us. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't catch it from the beginning. The beginning. And for me, some horror movies you have to watch from the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just come in. You can't try to figure it out.
The Mist is one of your favorites
Oh,
as well.
I do like The Mist. I also like Quarantine, which is I know a redo.
Oh yeah.
But I still liked it. I thought they did a good job.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Shaun of the Dead is not necessarily one of your favorite horror movies.
It's not a horror movie.
But it's one of your favorite movies of all
comedy,
time.
Yeah.
It is a comedy, yeah.
It's a tale of friendship.
At the end of the day, that's what it's really all about.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. We could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And on and on.
But we won't.
Because I really do. I enjoy them.
Right. Dan V getting back to his point about Untold Tales of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only one I've seen who's mentioned that series. I was thinking about getting it at that price. Do you remember any standouts from it? I mean, like, it's fun because it's set in continuity in the past. Busiek is working painstakingly to fold it into continuity. So, like, when he encounters the X-Men or any other Marvel characters, it has to be from the iteration that they are in, and it should fit within the pages of not only Spider-Man's book, but his own book. It's also fun to see a new character named Sally Averill be like actually utilized and explored, and then explained why she's not in the book. Mary Jane is teased quite a bit. It's kind of neat. It's just a really cool series. As far as like standouts, there's one issue that I really enjoyed that was kind of an expansion of Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 2. It's the issue where Betty Brant's brother is ensconced in some illegal activity and dies for his trouble. And there's a special character that looks kind of like a weird version of me who is like super powered, but like in a very subtle way. And that's a really cool one. I don't remember what issue it was, but like they're kind of done in ones is another wonderful thing about it. So if you don't have time, you can always just grab them in singles and save yourself some time.
I also want to say that like right now, I convinced Sal by just having it on that we're watching Midnight Mass.
We are watching Midnight Mass. We're 2 episodes away.
I'm really
from the
glad
end.
you missed the first episode because you didn't like in the second episode that something happened.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, there's something worse kind of happened at the very beginning.
Yeah,
of this.
that's right. That's right.
You missed. I filled him in on what happened there.
Yeah.
But I really, really like Flanagan, Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, well,
apparently.
the creator / like writer or showrunner.
Yeah, I really like him. I still have to go back and watch the first. Was it Haunting of Hill House?
Yes.
Because I jumped into Bly Manor, which I know is not the same tone.
No, but
I really liked Bly Manor. That one stuck with me.
You did.
It's tragic.
Right.
It's sad. There's melancholy.
Yeah.
I like me some melancholy.
Right.
Anyway.
Outside of like, I will also periodically, we should just drop some horror movies that we've seen because I've seen a lot of them for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, Jaws. It's not really a horror movie, but
Jaws.
Jaws. Damn you.
Jaws. It's a film for me. That's a film.
That's a film. That's a true film.
Jaws. I was in Jaws.
New type JB Lee. Speaking of writers, I wondered why JMS seems to do better with Marvel characters than with DC. His Amazing Spider-Man is mostly good, yet a Superman run was meh. I would go so far as to say it was bleh, more than meh. But yes, I don't understand why. Maybe it's because like there's something to be said for like Marvel being like more grounded or more human. But like I don't know. I've never seen if JMS has ever done anything with Batman or Green Arrow for that matter, and that'd be kind of cool.
You really can't count it, but Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Well, Evil Dead 2,
Yeah.
But yeah, the Army of Darkness show.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Matthew Mosley, Nick Spencer's ASM ending reminds me of the fart scene from Corky Romano, expecting this big grand finale, but instead we get a little. I've never seen Corky Romano.
I haven't. I don't remember that.
Fat Snorlax.
She said angrily.
Am I currently looking through a portal to Earth And then I'm not going to read all those numbers right now because you two are the wrong way around. It's freaking me out.
Okay,
By the
so
way, how are
here's
you?
that's really funny because we sat this way last week and no one seemed to notice, so we decided to do it again. So apparently it takes two.
Yes.
It takes 2 times.
Yes.
To
Reinforcing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, it's cool. Dan V900, Untold Tales of Spider-Man's $40 brand new over the omnibus. It's enticing, even though I'm not an omnibus guy for the most part. Yeah, that's not bad. If it's an omnibus, then yeah, that's worth it. But they're funny with their titling, like what an omnibus is. I'd take a look at how many issues are actually in there. If it's a complete series, then yes. But if not, no. Nick Smith says, I absolutely loved Venom. It's fun and interesting romance monster movie take on Carnage and Shriek. Also, I'm so excited for what the mid-credits scene implies.
I read that as Shrek because I saw it so quickly.
Yeah,
and I looked
I would
away.
love to see Shrek in that
Carnage
movie.
and Shrek.
Carnage and Shrek.
Just going on an adventure together.
Salem's Network. We need an episode where you guys cover nothing but horror. I don't think people would watch it, but I would definitely.
I would totally do that.
I
welcome to the horror podcast.
Yeah.
I just talk.
Oh, Fast and Rocks didn't see it last week, so there you go.
But I noticed that Danachu, our moderator, noticed it this week.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell
Takes
her about
two.
it. I have one more.
Yeah, you have an X-Men book, right?
No, I don't have an X-Men
I thought
book.
you were sandwiching X-Men books, but you already did the X-Men book. That's right.
So folk, did anyone else read Darkhold Alpha?
Someone in the comments earlier in the episode mentioned Darkhold Alpha. So
I know, but like I thought they mentioned that they didn't read it. So now I'm like, did they put it out digitally first? So I don't want to ruin anything.
Right. Well, just know that we're going to talk about it for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Here it comes. This is written by Steve Orlando.
Oh no.
With art by Cyan Tormey.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good book. Meh.
Well, it's Dr. Doom using the Darkhold. That's kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Spider-Man's got a new costume.
Yeah, because of the Darkhold or something? He gets like a Darkhold's costume?
Yeah, Spider-Man, Wasp, Blade,
Black
Bolt, and Iron Man all get new costumes.
Why?
Because of the Darkhold.
Because Marvel Legends. Oh.
He's like a fuzzy spider guy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't like it? I thought it was kind of fun.
I don't like,
Wasp is sexy too. She got a sexy costume. He's got a little web cape.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's different. Who the hell am I looking at over here then?
That's Wasp.
No.
That's Iron Man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay.
That's
yeah,
Black Bolt.
That's bizarre. What is this? Why? What are they doing?
Let's go back. Please.
Tell us more.
This book is happening, and I believe it's not necessarily within. I don't know. I didn't look it up.
I'm sure it is in continuity, but like more like you figure it out.
Yeah, because like if it is, then like when is this happening? Since Wanda died, and then it's come back, and you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it has to do with the Darkhold. It has to do with the a little bit. I think of the Avengers, like BCE possibly.
Okay. Oh god. No, the 1 million BC.
Yeah, maybe. Because they find the original Darkhold.
Okay.
Like the true Darkhold is found. And then we see like this image of like Chthon, or like the minions of Chthon like overrunning New York, and like the classic looking Avengers have fallen into beasties, and Valeria is running to like stop everything from happening. Like, oh, we just have to not, like, you can't breathe the air or anything like that because it'll drive you to madness.
Okay, all right.
Because Lovecraftian.
Yeah, we've played those. We played those Arkham games.
Yeah.
But not the Batman ones.
But they are like, she is like turned to like ice of some sort and shattered by her brother.
Oh no,
who has been like Darkholded.
Darkholded.
He just got Darkholded.
Damn right.
Wanda Maximoff wakes up from that dream and is like, oh no.
Oh, it's a dream.
The Darkhold's been found.
Oh, shite.
I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Doom has in fact
unearthed
the original Darkhold.
Awesome.
Victorious is there.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Herald of Doom.
Yes, and Porsche and fiance as well.
Well, yes, but in this just Herald. Okay. Just Herald.
Wait, Yes. Okay.
And basically, no one can read the Darkhold, especially not the original one. You can't.
Would you go insane if you tried? Is that the idea?
Yes, because if you read, it will drive you mad to madness. If you gaze upon its pages, you can know its knowledge. You just can't read it.
Right.
So, like, you're gonna need a
like a conduit or something,
like a text to voice translator.
But if you hear it, won't you go crazy?
No, you can know the knowledge. You just can't literally read it.
Okay,
don't read it. Don't read it off the page. It's bad. I'm like, what happened if you like?
So you need
take
like a book
photo?
bearer.
Yeah, so he uses his Doombots.
Okay, all right.
So the Doombots read it for him, and he can look through their eyes, and he's fine, and he can gain the knowledge.
Cool.
Wanda shows up and is like, "You're dumb.
Knock it off, Doom." Yeah.
Well, because like the idea is that like she's like, Cathan used me, and we'll use this book, and so don't stop. I mean, he's trying to like get through or whatever, but like knock it off. You're going to give him a conduit, and Doom's like, no, it's cool. I'm gonna take care of this. And she's like, you don't have the knowledge, and I can't read the book, so let's team up. So they team up.
Cool. And they used to be kind of married or something.
Yeah. Well, that's why he gives her any sort of audience.
Yeah.
It's because he's like, we used to bang.
Right. As opposed to feh. No, you not mutant.
I
Go
will
die.
say he's got quite a few like Doomisms in this. Like he's got some like pretty doomy things that he does. Inevitably, they figure out what they need to do, and the fact that like in the before times there were the Darkhold Defenders, who were 4 warriors or 5 warriors who had a specific
set of skills.
Yeah, no, they were the Dreamer, the Fool, the Stoic, the Hunter, and the Artist.
Okay,
and they were able to defeat Cathan in the other realm, not Otherworld. This was maybe a mistake to name them such similar things, but it's the other realm. It cost them their sanity, but it worked. And so she's like, we gotta make our own Darkhold Defenders, others who can fill those roles.
Yes,
and can help us. And Doom's like, Doom needs none of this.
Right.
I'm
all those things.
I'm the Darkhold Defenders.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And she's like, what?
Good Lord, Doom.
And I'm like, Wanda,
how could you be surprised by
how could you ever be surprised by anything that Doom does?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, you didn't think he could get more egotistical, and yet here we are.
Yeah, that's Doom.
So he basically he just goes. He's like, I'll go and beat up Cathan, and I'll be back. So she's left with Victorious, and basically she's like, so yeah, that's not going to work.
Right.
And so I'm going to need you to use your power cosmic to help me seek out those we need.
Mm-hmm.
And so the call is placed out, and the characters we mentioned all show up. Tony's the Dreamer, Blade's the Hunter, Janet's the Artist, Black Bolt is the Stoic, and Spider-Man's the Fool.
Naturally.
I thought Tony would be the Fool.
That'd be funny. That'd be great to see that dichotomy.
The
Dreamer.
And Tony's like, hey,
what?
No, I'm definitely the Dreamer.
Yeah. Well, you're not. Well, that's funny because my armor says different.
They gather everyone, and everyone's got to work together.
Right.
To defeat the big bad. And so everybody in turn gives a reason why they'll join the group, and it's a really like tropey, ridiculous page. And then they come to Black Bolt, who's like, actually, I need to put in human rebuilding first, so I'm out.
I'm not coming. Okay.
I'm not going.
All right.
Big beam out of the ceiling strikes down, and then Doom shows up, and like he is messed up.
Sweet.
And it's like nothing went well for him.
Yeah.
Over in Other Realm, we see like the remnants of a fallen city, and that like Cathan's army is hungry and desires to like exit. And there's like a lone warrior of some sorts that I don't know who it is yet.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Oh.
Who finds like the lower mandible of Doom's armor.
Yeah.
Because basically Doom showed up. Cathan was like, lols.
Yeah.
It didn't go well for Doom. He's like, I saw things over there, and they're like, would you like to share? And he's like, when I showed up, there was like a metropolis of madness and all this crap, and I fought and blah, blah, blah. And like everything else was for Doom's eyes alone.
Okay.
And they're like, seriously? Could you be a little less full of yourself in order to save the world? He's like, nope. Go ahead, take your little Doom defenders or Darkhold defenders. When they fail, I'll be the one who saves everyone. Peace.
Okay.
And Doom runs away.
So Doom isn't going to be the Stoic.
Doom leads. No, he leaves. And then like Black Bolt's like, okay.
And me too.
I guess I'm in.
Oh, yay.
So what they have to do here, folks, is they have to read just enough of the Darkhold to temper their minds against the madness they'll experience, but not so much
that they'll go insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, all right.
Guess what happens?
They read too much.
It's because they don't know.
Right.
They're all like, how much do I read? And like they're like, you'll know. Guess what?
They don't.
They don't. And like they freak out and then they get their new costumes.
Okay.
And they're like, we're not the Darkhold Defenders, we're the Darkhold Defiled. This will continue into other Darkhold themed books.
Cool.
I don't know if I'm going to read them or not. This was okay. I think this will be one of those random trades that you'll find later on that you'll be like, oh,
that's really inexpensive. That's a real discount.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I mean, it's so funny because it's like, if this is taking place right now in continuity, using Wanda Maximoff either A, reveals that everything will be fine with Wanda and she'll come back with her powers and everything will be fine and she'll live in New Jersey, or B, it's not in continuity at all, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that if it is in continuity, they should also be dealing with the death of Doctor Strange.
Which they won't.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fine. But you knew I was going to check it out.
Yeah.
You knew I couldn't help myself. I had to check this out.
Yeah, like the Darkhold, you had to read it.
I had to read it. Did I read too much? Yeah.
I think you've tempered your mind enough.
If I read any more.
If you read any more, you will go.
We'll see if
insane.
next week I've got a sweet new costume.
Yeah, that'd be cool. New type JB Lee. Isn't it sad that Silladin Miles's run feels more like classic than the actual Spider-Man titles, and Peter's better written there as a supporting character? Yes, it is. Yes. But like that makes sense because Miles can be like the Peter that like people need and not the one that they deserve. I don't know. He also says, isn't it? Oh, you mentioned that already. But Dan V900 says, bring on the Squid Game spoiler reviews. It's so good.
That's a Netflix show.
I know. I've heard all about it.
That's not the one we're watching.
No, but I'm not interested either. So
that's fair.
So yeah.
Which one do you want to do first?
I guess we'll do Spider-Man. It's just because it's quick, you know. Amazing Spider-Man number 74. It's a $10 mega giant issue. It's got like a ton of pages and it has a bunch of backups, and it is the conclusion of Nick Spencer's run. And like, as you can imagine, it's like it's profoundly disappointing and not terribly good, which has been his run since the beginning.
That art was neat.
That's because it was drawn by Sal Buscema over 20 years ago.
Oh.
They waste page real estate showing you a book that Nick Spencer really wants you to think of, which is a bad idea because it's a better book. But it's like, it's one of those things where I like what Spencer has done, but I hate all the work it took to get here. Because at the end of the day, like, it's like working out. Because you don't want to, you know you have to, and you'll appreciate the results, but no one's going to look back fondly on the workout you did. Like, you know, I'd be like, man, remember that Idle Thursday when I just lifted weights for like 40 minutes?
Okay, I would say that some people who are way more physically fit than I am probably do.
Yeah, but they probably enjoy it while it's happening, but they don't remember thinking. They're not like remembering it or revisiting it. It's not like they filmed themselves and they're rewatching it. And no one's ever going to read this book again. And that's really one of the problems of this book, is that like, do the ends justify the means? Is it worth it? And ultimately, I say like, sure, because I didn't throw my like career, you know, I didn't like put my career on the line to do a bunch of heavy lifting on Spider-Man's continuity or to preserve things that I thought were really important, like the best J.M. DeMatteis Spider-Man comic of all time. Like, you know, I appreciate that this is here. It's hilarious when like this is trying to be presented in this entire run and it's done incorrectly. So it's ironic that they would show it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the reveal is that Harry Osborn's been dead forever, which is what I said before.
Mm-hmm.
That Kindred was actually Gabriel and Sarah, the evil clone babies that were originally Norman Osborn and Gwen Stacy's kids. It turns out that along with all the other machinations that Harry Osborn created back before Spectacular Spider-Man during the Child Within story, Harry Osborn, he didn't just tape himself a cryptic message to Peter saying, I made artificial life forms of your parents to ruin your life. He created an AI program that approximated his personality. And that AI program like went rogue, so to speak. And during that period helped create clone versions of Gabriel and Sarah. So they were never actually created by Norman and Gwen Stacy. They were clones. And that Harry Osborn that's been running around since Brand New Day, yeah, he's a clone too.
Wait, he built clones of Sarah and
like Sarah and Gabriel were just clones.
Of what?
Who cares?
They can't just be. They'd be clones of something.
They were. And they also used Mysterio to make Mary Jane and Norman, who were two characters that referred to the events of Sin Past, think that Sin's Past happened when in fact it didn't. So, like, there. That's not real. Also, Mephisto helped make them because Mephisto has an ulterior motive that also is the result of why he made One More Day in the first place. Also, Mephisto made a deal with Norman Osborn before he became the Goblin so that Norman Osborn would pledge Harry Osborn's soul. So even though Harry redeems himself at the end of Spectacular 200, he still goes to hell, and Mephisto gets to mess with it. When Doctor Strange said to Mephisto, hey, I really care about Peter Parker's soul, for whatever reason, sometime between issues, Nick Spencer switches gears and says that Doctor Strange doesn't care about that anymore, but then cares more about Harry Osborn's soul, because if Harry Osborn is a clone, it means his soul is still in hell, and that's not fair. So now we're going to bargain for Harry Osborn's soul. And so Peter is like one of the two champions that Doctor Strange chooses. The other champion is Mary Jane, so she can help Peter get out of a hole. And Mephisto chooses Gabriel and Sarah as his champions, and they fight and they lose, and it's stupid. Ultimately,
who loses?
Gabriel and Sarah.
Okay.
Peter fights like desperately and valiantly. The implication from like upcoming promo art is that Peter dies. He doesn't. He's totally fine in this. So that'll happen sometime between like the next issue that comes out literally in 2 days. So Harry's dead. Peter wins. He gets to go to heaven. The clone Harry, who had a life from Brand New Day until now, sacrifices himself to save the day. So he dies. So now Harry's gone. And Peter and Mary Jane are dating. And while Spencer did, you know what? Actually, there's a Reddit thread that somebody created that actually really helps me out, because they made a list of all of the abandoned plot lines that Spencer created and then just like threw away. So let's look at that for a second, because that's where we are. That's the life I live now. It's just like
you gotta untangle this.
So I gotta.
But like, wasn't the whole thing for everybody that like if this undid one more day, they'd be happy?
Yes, and it didn't. And clearly what happened was he was going to, and Marvel said no.
So it undid Sin's Past.
Yes.
Which,
as like a way of being like, well, but I wrote all these issues.
Which is something that I despised when we did it. But the fact is I haven't given it more than a moment's thought.
As it is the case, as everyone's is the case. Like no one thinks about Sin's Past. No one refers to Sin's Past outside of Straczynski and Straczynski's protege, who wrote Sins Remembered, and then after that, no one ever did it again. Here we go. In Sinister War, before Sinister War, Peter has an engagement ring in his pocket. It's never mentioned again. He's right, it isn't. Towards the end of Sinister War, Mysterio says his part to play in Everything Is Coming. He exits stage left, never to be seen. This is true. Lizard was split in two. There's a Kurt Connors and a Lizard, never referred to again. Many villains are running around significantly. Morlun was brought back to life. He's in the big fight at the last issue. They
brought a Morlun back?
They brought the Morlun back.
They're like, wait a minute. Is there any way we can
bring back Morlun?
Another one of those Morlun events?
My God. So they do that. He also brings back original Electro, who I believe was just a clone from Clone Conspiracy. Anyway, Sandman's a bad guy. Doc Ock never learned what happened between him and Mephisto, because he also made a deal. Doc Ock, in a Superior Spider-Man body, also got one more day. Something's wrong with Peter's soul, and Doctor Strange is determined to find out, except that he doesn't care anymore and is worried about Harry's soul.
But he did.
Yes. The first 2/3 of the run, Kindred really wants to punish Peter for a sin. They never determined what the sin is, because obviously the sin was one more day, and then they told him he can't do one more day anymore, and so that's that. Kindred killed Peter over and over and over again throughout the entire run, and then he fights two Kindreds in this book, and he's easily defeating them. So yeah, there you go. And at the end, so Gabriel and Sarah are dead, and they never were, or at least they never were anything important. Mary Jane and Peter are still dating, just like they were at the beginning of Spencer's run, and maybe there's an engagement ring somewhere. Harry's dead, and always was, but now is totally. And a couple other things he changed. Craven's back to being dead like he should be, and Lizard's separate and stuff like that. Like he set all his stuff up and then just like dropped it off. No one's gonna ever use Kindred no one's ever gonna reference this. Just like Since Past, it became its own thing. Like we're like, who cares? It also ends with like Peter and Mary Jane like kissing. Like yay.
Yeah.
But like you didn't undo one more day, so like anyone can undo that. Just like always. So that's what this book is. And Mephisto reveals at the end that the reason he even did one more day in the first place is because he looked into the future,
Because
and
Joe Quesada told him he had to.
yeah, well, I mean that's the real reason.
No,
but like,
I mean, he told Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto. Yeah, because Joe's there too. But Mephisto is like, so the thing is, I looked into the future and I take over the world, which like, why would he do that? He'd never be interested in that. That's not Mephisto. But Mephisto one day will take over the world, and he saw that there's one person who will stand up to him and defeat him in the Earth's darkest hour, and sometimes it's Peter, but when the time scale slides, some of these characters get old and age out, and so Peter would shift to Mayday Parker, the offspring of Peter and Mary Jane. So I took away their marriage to fudge the numbers a little bit so that my destined defeater would never cease to be. So like, it's like a wink and an apology to One More Day detractors and Mayday Parker fans, but at the end of the day, like, it's hollow because like no one cares.
So the person who could defeat him is not
Peter, but in fact,
it's not Doctor Strange,
no,
or any of the Ghost Riders,
no,
or any character that's ever had any real
dealings with Mephisto.
Yeah,
it's Spider-Man's future daughter, who may or may not ever exist.
Cool.
So like, that is what happened, and then it sets up a bunch of stuff where it's like, yay, we're really excited about the future.
I love that Steve's there because it's like, which Steve is that then?
Right?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Damn
indeed. Not worth the cover price, and will be probably in dollar bins like before you know it. So I would, if you didn't buy it, don't. If you are interested, wait. There's also a Christos Gage flashback story that reinforces like Ben, an Uncle Ben annual story, which like, yay, whatever. There's a fun, cute, like, this is what Spider-Man's been up to since Amazing Fantasy 15 till now, like, which becomes a song. It's cute. There is a Zeb Wells story that reinforces like Ben Reilly's Mary Jane character, Janine, who is in a really, really interesting and better story called like Ben Reilly: The Lost Years.
Okay.
And or Spider-Man: The Lost Years, doesn't matter, but it's like about Ben Reilly, and he like hooks up with this girl, and like she's implicated in murder, and here she is in jail. And despite the fact that like Ben Reilly has been a character and has appeared in like his own book and his own event and an Iron Man book, this is the time when he gets involved in Janine's life. Also, it's a nice opportunity to see like, hey, how does Zeb Wells handle the Spider-Man mythos? Yeah. And like, it's fine. Like, it's not terribly exciting, but like, it's there. And, and Ben and Janine are back together, which, that was cute, I guess. I don't know. Yep. So that's a thing.
Okay.
That happened. And like, I wouldn't recommend it if you could avoid it, because like, don't.
Maybe Marvel's never going to give anybody back the marriage because they're like, you'll buy it in case we do it.
Right.
You're always hoping we'll do it.
Exactly.
But now we got you that way.
Yeah. In case of emergency.
Bring the marriage back.
Bring the marriage back.
Or maybe we won't. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, we'll just dangle it in front of you.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'll never, like, if they were going to bring it back, they would have this time, which means they never will. They never will. It took the entire bullpen has been complaining for decades. Since 87, the bullpen has been complaining about the marriage. They did it. It was ugly. It was hard, and it like is divisive, and it's 10 years old. Like, they're never gonna put themselves in that position again to be like, to have to do that again. They're never gonna do that. So that's that. Radium Theater Productions. Here's some coin that can get that Year of the Villain collection going for your death metal episode. Only a few hundred issues to go. Yeah, we're not going to do that, but thank you. I'm not going to read that. The Gray Initiate. I've read it, but I'm not going to do it.
No, that episode. Because then here's the thing: like the episodes that don't have a lot surrounding them tend to be really long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it would be like, we couldn't ask the guys to put in that much time for a single episode out of their very busy lives.
Right. But we're not going to do like the Year of the Villain is not important enough to warrant its own episode, nor is it important enough to warrant much regard during the death metal episode.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is it was editorially mandated, so Batman Who Laughs can switch places with Lex Luthor. That's it. The Gray Initiate. It's pretty ballsy that Sony is trying to do with their Spider-Man movies. If they manage to stick the landing with it at all, it'll be pretty incredible. Yeah, maybe. That's all I can say about that. Is like maybe, yeah. Catching up. New type JB Lee says, does Marvel really know what to do with Peter? When Miles speaks more for the youth than the OG Spidey, it makes Peter look like an aging rock band. I mean, like, listen, the boss is almost 70 and he's doing fine.
No, I would say, though, that if that's the case, then why care about if he's married or not?
Yeah. Why try to keep him young if you already have a young Spider-Man? Alex Cash, hey man, what's going on?
Hi.
74 is a great pitch deck for a run. Cool ideas to clean up continuity are there. I'm just not sure where the story was. There wasn't one. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate issue with that entire run. Radium Theater back. That's the life I live now. I've got to untangle. That's right, man. Dante Cook. Hey, Sound Tiffany, please
Hi.
tell me you guys have read MOM. Tiffany, I think you will love what Amelia Clark has been doing for her first comic. I seriously do. And I hope she gets to write more in the future.
I have not.
No, but I've seen it.
I too have seen it.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I know.
No.
It's just
But yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Dan Dragon, I hate this because it's essentially a Ghost Rider pitch put in the Spider-Man book.
Yeah.
Man, if Spider-Man had become a Ghost Rider at the end, that would have actually been more funny.
Or since they're not doing anything with any of the Ghost Rider characters, why not? They were so hell-bent on putting so many characters in here, and Spider-Man has had crossover, especially
with Danny.
With Danny in particular, and they're letting Danny be Ghost Rider there. They also have Robbie, of course.
Yeah.
And Johnny's not the King of Hell anymore, but he's not necessarily Ghost Rider though.
Right.
Danny's now the
spirit of
penance
of lame.
But anyway, you could have thrown a Ghost Rider in there
easily. Algie Try, isn't there a thing where Sony has the ultimate say of what happens in the comics and Spider-Man? Maybe they just wanted to streamline some stuff. ComicPop, hell yeah. No, man. I'm just gonna nip that right in the bud. No, Sony cannot tell them what to do with the comic books. So, but like, I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted, like, if that is a thing people are saying, don't think that anymore because Sony has nothing to do with the comic books. They don't. But yeah, hell yeah to you too, man. Thank you. CK, I get paid weekly now, so here's a piece.
Aww.
Random question. Are either of you all Fables fans? Have a great evening. You too. Thank you very much for supporting us. We really appreciate it, man. And keep up the good work for yourself.
Yeah, I dig Fables. I did not read the Batman Bigby book this week.
Yeah, I almost got it for you in physical, and I'm like, nah.
I like saying that. Triple B. Batman Bigby book.
Yeah. Dan V900, I expected a proposal to the end of the issue that they go back on in Spider-Man Beyond and didn't expect the OMD retcon. Feels like a rereading Spider-Girl now. I mean, yeah.
I just feel like rereading Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, you should because that's better. Mm-hmm. At least there's a story there. There's a lot of stories in there. So yeah, Inferno, number 1 of 4.
Go for it.
From Hickman and Skeety.
Which looks great and made me sad.
Yeah. But it is here, and it does look great.
It does.
It's funny because I'm gonna weigh in a little bit, and then I'm gonna let you take it over because
I was gonna let you go for it.
No, I don't want to go for it. But
I would like you to go for
why? But it's your book.
Okay.
This is your whole wheelhouse is X-Men.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, I'll say this. Hickman, dropping off of X-Men, but doing the whatever the hell book he's doing on Unlimited.
Yeah.
Sucks and it's disappointing, but having read the main X-Men title from Jerry Duggan, it seems like, man, okay, Duggan's doing a really nice job of like approximating the voice, hitting the thing, doing a good job.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Maybe we're fine. And then you read this and you're like, oh shit, you are really missing out on Hickman.
No, I think
this felt like a Hickman book.
No, it is a Hickman book. I mean, he wrote it.
I know.
What I think it does is that it ties in a way that only he could do because it's his voice and his story.
Yes.
It's his little journey. But I don't think that like are we going to miss out with him leaving? Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it diminishes what's happening in X-Men.
It doesn't.
It's just a different voice.
But like at first it was like, man, yeah, Duggan did a really nice job of approximating Hickman's voice. But then you get Hickman's voice and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, like, and he does use like visual and like, you know, written echoes.
Yes.
To his previous books.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I mean, like, this issue serves to remind you about Hawks and Pox.
Yes, this is absolutely a sequel. This is, I think, I thought, and I think we all thought,
yeah,
when Inferno was teased, hinted at, announced before Hickman's Substack departure,
right,
that this was like an act break. This is a book that's like, we're setting up, like,
now, see,
Dawn of X is over. We're now in this new era.
Yeah, I felt like it was like the fun times were over, but also that this could be the end.
This is the end.
Because it's Inferno.
Right.
And I was told no.
Right. This is the end of Hickman's run. Like,
but it is. I mean, he's still doing that other thing,
right?
Digital, whatever.
Yeah, I've read it. But like, yeah.
But we'll see how this goes. Regardless, it is, even if it's not a true end or break, I think it is an end of like the, you know, yay, we're doing, like, the X-Men are doing great, and
yeah,
you know.
Well, I think, like, if you thought that for me, if you are interested in X-Men because of like everything that was set up in Hawks and Pox,
yes,
when you're done with Inferno, you can quit X-Men now.
No.
That's the weight of this issue.
Really?
Yeah. Is that you're like, okay, it's gonna do, like, we're done.
Okay.
Like, I think Krakoa might still exist after this, but like,
I think it will. I hope. Maybe. I don't know. Because this is playing with some massive ideas.
Yes.
Massive
but, like,
ideas.
all of the ideas that were brought up.
Well, it's really the biggest one. Because a character who has been, you know, she'll pop up here or there, is very much the main focus of this, and she's the linchpin of all of this.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Destiny.
I know.
Oh, okay. But you know, if anything happens there, it's game over, man.
Right.
And like, how do the other books then continue to go?
Mm-hmm. So the X-Men are consumed with the concept of taking out Orcus / Nimrod, because like
it's all
that's the end game.
Yeah, so like in Hawks and Pox, it's established that like through Moira's many lives, that she has experienced several timelines in which certain things occur.
Yep.
That cause the fall of mutants. And so she's warned Xavier and
Magneto.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eric. I'm like, he's got a name.
Yeah.
About these things to look out for and things that need to be taken care of. Orcus being one of them. The Mother Mold, Nimrod, the
Omega Sentinel,
and I was thinking of the Phalanx.
Oh yes, the Phalanx.
Yeah,
which thankfully doesn't come into play in this.
No. We don't really focus on that, and also that Destiny can never ever be allowed to be reborn.
It's funny. I didn't really get that. I got the impression like it was kind of like a guideline than a rule, but in this book we're like reinforcing, like, I never want to see that person ever again.
Well, and she has good reason.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the same reason that no one who has a power set like hers can ever set foot onto Krakoa. They're not allowed to.
Yep.
But this issue, which is, it's like 1 of 4, it's like a double-sized issue, 52 pages.
Feels long, but like in a good way.
It didn't feel long, super long to me.
No, but like it felt like every time I was like, this is where the issue is going to be over. There's more issue.
Yeah. But like a lot of it is reminding you some of the things that happened in Hawks and Pox.
Yes, reinforces it.
Yes,
or
because it's like, hey, maybe you didn't read that. Maybe you jumped on at Dawn.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, which you probably did. Statistically speaking, you probably did.
Possibly, it's possible. Very much
we hopefully have more fans now than we did when Hawks and Pox.
Sure. But it's like, hey, during one of Moira's lives, she ran into Destiny, and it was at a point in Moira's life in which she was like knew she was a mutant and was like, the only way to fix my issue is to cure mutantum, to get rid of the X gene.
She and a gaggle of scientists.
Yeah, like a group of, it's a group of 5 of them.
Yes.
So she's part of, it's 5.
Right.
The number 5 is important to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she inevitably runs into Mystique and Destiny.
Yep.
who are romantically inclined with one another.
Mhm.
And Destiny is like, you're interesting. And she completely unravels Moira and like reveals what her power set is and is like, you can't go against mutants. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to protect her for them.
Yes.
And like, I'm older than you, so even if you return, I will be able to find you first and kill you.
Right. And I
Like-
can kill you. Like, you can end.
Yeah, like if you die as a child before your powers
Manifest.
then that's the end of you.
Yeah.
So several timelines later, we're here,
Mhm.
and Destiny is dead.
Yep.
And the only thing that Mystique knows is that she's like, she was told by Destiny that there'll be like an island, and that if they won't bring me back, you have to make them bring me back.
Yes. And if they don't bring me back,
then burn it all.
Yeah.
Burn it all, baby. And she's been working on that. So she's been trying to convince Charles and
Eric.
that you should bring Destiny back. I don't understand why she has to be so low down on the list. They're like, oh, Hyman Hall. And to be fair, there definitely have been some instances where that list has been front loaded.
Oh, yeah.
People who have just recently died that they desperately need back.
Yep.
So sometimes it's going to happen. But on quiet days on Krakoa, why not?
Right.
Why not Destiny?
Absolutely.
But they always give a reason. They more recently had targeted her to perform a mission that, like, if she could get into Orcus,
Yep.
and grow a gate that, and I guess destroy it as well.
Yeah.
I can't really remember that, honestly. That they would bring Destiny back if she was successful in her mission. She not only failed, but discovered that Nimrod was online, was active and online based on a mission that they had, based on events that the Krakoan forces caused to happen.
Yes.
And so upon failing, they're like, but that was the agreement, so we're not gonna bring her back.
Right.
I think she was kind of shocked by that too, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you? Why would
right?
You
and they were like really snippy about it, which is really frustrating.
And they have been pretty catty about certain things, but they're feeling high on themselves.
Yeah.
So Nimrod comes online because a mutant strike force goes into Orcus's facilities in order to destroy the master mold.
Yes.
Mother mold? I couldn't remember if it was a mother or master.
Master mold was the one who makes sentinels, but mother mold's the one who makes master molds.
Right. So mother mold, to destroy a mother mold, and they do.
Yeah, they drop it in the sun.
Yeah, but they don't destroy all of Orcus.
No.
And a female scientist up there, her husband was there, head of security. He ends up dying in order to save her, basically. And she can't let it go.
Yep.
And so due to that, she ends up creating Nimrod with his consciousness in it. And so hence Nimrod is born by an action that they took.
Exactly.
In this, they question, because Moira comes into play here and is like, hey, so you, like, they heard that she had gone, I think she grew a gate someplace.
She did, yeah. Yeah, well, you mean Eric and Chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they get notification that she's left somewhere.
They're tracking her, yeah.
Yeah, because she has to go to Paris, I think.
She does, but for like, and that was a setup way in ahead
it was. But essentially they come to her and she's like, oh, cool, you've shown up.
Yeah.
Clearly they have not really been chatting with Moira all that much. We've seen her occasionally.
Yep, like once in a while, but not
so
much.
They don't really check in. Like, they're in charge.
Mm-hmm.
She gave them all the info, and then they like put her in a bubble, basically.
Yep.
Because they're like, well, you're like the most important thing.
Yes.
We have to know where you are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, otherwise this is all for nothing and we start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they question whether or not Nimrod and the relation and the machines essentially are
the problem.
Well, not that they're the problem, but like, are they inevitable?
Right.
Like, Nimrod came online because of us. Like, does that always happen no matter what? Like, have you ever tried to make friends with the machines?
Yes.
She doesn't say yay or nay to that.
No.
She dodges the question
and
then reinforces the fact that Destiny can never be brought back.
Yeah.
We knew going into this that this was going to be about Destiny.
Yes.
It was going to be about Mystique. Getting her back.
Mm-hmm.
So Moira's like, not only do I want her not to be resurrected. I want you to delete her.
Right,
It's
like
getting like Moira's seemingly already figuring out
where it's going.
that this is a problem.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I want you to delete her records. She doesn't come back. She's like any other like human being on the face of the earth.
Yep.
She
So
doesn't get to come back.
they take Sinister's DNA samples.
Yeah, she's like,
of
I
her.
don't just want her cerebro files deleted. Like,
Right,
I don't
like
want
every
any
trace of
iteration of her, even one that doesn't remember.
Mhm.
I don't care.
You might say they want her burned from existence, which is a line from the book, but also Inferno.
Yeah.
This is Moira's attempt at Inferno.
It's an inferred Inferno.
Exactly. I will say, by the way, I did speak too quickly about phalanxes. I'm like, we don't get phalanx in this book.
No, but we do.
But Warlock
is here.
finally comes out in a Hickman book.
Yeah, Warlock shows up. And he does that thing again. This book, the reason it makes you feel that Hickman connection is because of how much it's tying back to Hawks and Pox. Because when Cypher is first brought to Krakoa by Xavier to find out whether or not it's possible to talk to it, he touches the leaves, and you see for a second the Warlock Phalanx technology.
Yeah.
And initially it was thought that he was just communicating, but he was dropping, I guess, Warlock off because
Yeah.
he does that and then calls him forth. Basically,
Right,
he's
exactly.
like, "Hey, buddy,
Yeah.
what's happening?"
Mm-hmm.
He's still with Bay,
Yes.
the Blood Moon. If you're not familiar with that, it's a result of Ten of Swords events.
Yep.
He's married, but Warlock's like, "She scares me."
Yes.
And he's like, "Me too. Isn't it great?"
No, that's not a compliment. So yeah.
So not only does Moira want Destiny destroyed in every possible way.
Oh yes.
She also is like, and I want Mystique. I think Mystique should be pulled from the council.
Yeah, and you can spin it however you want, but
I don't care.
Let's come up with a thing if you wanted to, maybe it's time for a refresh. We're gonna kick most people off the council and give them an opportunity to resign or step down or whatever.
They're already short 2 seats.
Yes,
because Jean left.
Yep.
To join the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And Apocalypse
is gone.
Is in Ament.
Yes.
With Genesis and his horsemen, children.
Yeah.
Not you guys, children, his children. Children, have a seat. But she's like, just recommend. I know you have to fill those 2 spots, but that maybe this is a good time for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And they do. They present it to the council, and they're like, "Hey."
Maybe this is an opportunity for you to actually enjoy Krakoa. Take a time off.
Yeah, just Eric's like, even I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, but I'm thinking about it. And they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just it reeks so hollow. Maybe it's because we have context, but in any case.
Exactly. Of course, there's some other things that occur too.
Bishop's made of.
Cyclops steps down as captain or
Yep.
commander of the captains, because there are captains for Krakoa who are in charge of keeping the peace and defending it.
Yep.
He was in charge of them. Magic's also a high-ranking officer there.
Yeah.
They were going to get another one for somebody left. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But Cyclops says, bring in Bishop.
Yes.
He should be the commander.
Yep.
And then Psylocke is stepping in.
Yes.
For Gorgon.
There you go.
Gorgon was killed during Ten of Swords. I mean, he was brought back. It was brought back wrong.
Different. Yeah.
Different. Well, it's different. We'll say different, not wrong.
Yeah.
But they say wrong sometimes.
Right.
So Psylocke stepping in, which works because she's not on the Hellions any longer.
Right, exactly. There's no Hellions book, so might as well put her in something important.
There's still 2 more issues or something.
Yeah.
So that happens. We also check in with another Hickman creation, the Horticulture.
Yes. Who hooked up? Is it Orcus?
I think it's Orcus.
Well, there's a group that's been tracking the comings and goings of the Krakoan gates. They discover okay, there's something going on. We got a blip. It's obviously Moira, but they didn't know because nobody knows that she's a mutant. Yeah. And so they've
got this code, and they're like, oh, the code must be wrong.
Yeah, so they call the Horticulture. They're like, it's not wrong, blah blah blah. They check it, they refresh it. They're like, oh no, it's actually
those women figure it out immediately.
They figure it out immediately. And what's funny is they then send that information, but that information is being tracked by the X-Men.
Yep.
Who are then I guess where that's where it goes to Charles and Xavier,
yep.
Charles and Eric, which is how they know that she's coming and going anyway.
Right, but it's good to notice that just because you know that everybody's spying on everybody else. Krakoa is such an opportunity for peace, but no one will let it lie.
No,
they won't let it just be.
Exactly.
So the crux of this issue occurs when Charles and Eric present their information to the Quiet Council, the idea of we're still looking for people to fill in, but for right now, we want to give an offering of anyone who might like to step down, like to change things up or like, shake it up a little bit there. And we're not going to be worrying about putting new people on right now. You don't have to have a replacement in mind or anything like that. It's just a chance. Think about it.
Right.
Mystique immediately is like, no, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Fabulous idea. And also, like, I have a suggestion for someone to join.
They're like, well, we're not really taking suggestions right now.
That's not this part of the meeting.
She's like, well, it is now.
I love the idea that Mystique prepared this.
Yep.
Like that, like she was gonna do this. And then they took the conversation a totally different way. So she's like, I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. You know what? No, I don't care. I've already planned this. No, forget it.
No, I got my big reveal here.
Mm-hmm.
And so like she asks for someone to reveal themselves, and they do, and presumably, it's Destiny.
Right. So Destiny takes a seat on the council, and she's like, "Shall we put it to a vote?"
Yeah, but she takes the seat that Apocalypse held.
Yes.
Which is like,
Oh shit. Yeah.
No, you don't get to have Apocalypse's seat.
Well, she's taking it.
Well, we'll see, and whether or not it's her or not.
Right. Now there's actually a great visual. I'm sure you picked up on a while ago, where it's like there's a lot of reflections.
Yeah.
In this book.
Oh, for sure.
Now, obviously, she's not impersonating anyone right now.
No.
But like, I'm thinking that everyone who's reflected or doing the reflecting in each shot is Mystique. She's like setting things up. Like, there's a scene where Cyclops's visors have a reflection, and there's a bunch of reflections.
I just think that I thought they just liked drawing it, or the.
Right, here we go, where Xavier goes to see Sinister to get Destiny's DNA.
Yeah.
And it's like in the blue of his helmet.
Right, right.
It like there's a couple of moments of like of this, like, we're seeing a false face.
Yeah.
More or less.
So I mean, it could easily be that this is just a clone that Sinister created, because Sinister will make a deal with anybody if he can get something out of it.
Exactly.
And obviously he really would like to follow his love of the concept of Chimera after learning about it from Tarn. And he has been working on that in Hellions.
Right.
And he was also, I believe, involved in Inferno.
He was.
The first one.
Yeah.
So we're like, I don't know. She's another like helmeted individual.
Yes.
Now the question will be, if she is just a clone, what memories does she have? And what ability does she have? And how will Charles and Eric deal with having her there, or like Moira's obvious desire to get her off?
Yeah. We didn't get rid of her. We actually made her a member of the Quiet Council. Like, that's going to be a huge issue that I can't wait to see Moira's reaction.
They have to vote.
Yeah.
There has to be a vote.
Right, but they're going to vote against her, and like, it's not going to work for them. Or they're going to vote for her and be like, don't worry, Moira.
Well, the other thing too is, don't forget, I don't know how much the White Queen knows. She has some knowledge.
Yeah.
She's on the Quiet Council. They do need to have a vote. This could be just the chance in which Xavier just uses his powers.
Right. That'd be great.
Like, to influence certain individuals to vote a certain way.
Yeah. That's true.
Although you're with Destiny, so you probably, if it is her and she does have her powers, she already knows how it's going to shake out.
True.
So
it's cool. I had a great time reading this book. I was like, what?
I did too. No, I absolutely did. I'm just sad that, like, are we going to reveal Moira? Because once you reveal Moira to Krakoa,
everyone,
and everyone, if you reveal it to Krakoa, you reveal it to everyone.
Yeah,
like, there's no way that they're not going to find out. The world's not going to find out, and then she becomes the most valuable targeted individual on the planet.
Absolutely.
And Destiny, it's funny, like, Mystique and Destiny are an interesting duo here, because Destiny seemingly knows the future, and yet put Moira in very specific positioning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how far into the future can you see? Because this woman has lived lifetimes, and all she wants to do is try now to help mutantdom, and it always fails. And then you have Mystique, who doesn't necessarily know any of this.
Right.
And doesn't necessarily know the harm that she's causing.
No.
Now, am I saying I agree with what Moira and Charles and Eric are doing? No, I don't necessarily agree with this at all.
No.
But I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand why they take the actions that they're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theories?
I have no theories.
You have no theories?
I don't want to have any theories.
Okay. Because I do have a big theory from this as a result, and I won't talk about it.
Okay.
But like,
no, go ahead. No, share it with them. It's fine.
No, it's fine. I'm just
No, share.
I think that this whole thing is Moira never planned on saving mutantdom. I think she just wants to end mutants. I think we reinforce the thing.
Oh.
She's like, no, this whole thing is an elaborate plan for me to end, to reinforce my cure for mutantism.
I don't think so, because if that were the case, if like all she cared about was not having her powers anymore, because the fact
Oh, she'd just die.
Yeah, she's just miserable.
No, she's not trying to do that. She's trying to end them. Like, she is Orcus.
I don't know. I hope not.
I hope not too.
Because that would be immensely unsatisfying.
Right.
And like, I mean, good kudos to her for playing the long game.
I mean, it's like 10 lifetimes long.
But it doesn't matter. Like, that's what I don't. I hope that's not what it is, because the fact is she knows no matter what path, it's how it's going to end up. So who cares?
Right.
So like, why would she go to this trouble?
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. Also, Orcus has collected at least like 10 different skeletons.
They've got so many Wolverine skeletons.
Which is not good. It means they can make a bunch of Wolverines, or at the very least they have a ton of adamantium. They could make Nimrod an exoskeleton of adamantium now. Cool. So, it's cool. It's got a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But I dig it.
I do too. Hickman presents it in such a way in which you're reading it and like afterwards you're like, whew.
Wait a minute. You know, while I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Dan Wesley with a super sticker. Thanks a lot, Dan. Fat Snorlax. Amazing Spider-Man 72 definitely feels like yet another writer has an idea, but has hijacked by editorial scenario. Sucks. Does Mephisto really need another reason to mess with Peter? No, he doesn't.
So I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have we talked about this before? Am I having deja vu or not? Because I feel like we didn't, but I might have already talked about this before. Since the 5 can create anyone, right? And then, you can utilize the backups from Cerebro to bring someone back.
Yes.
What if they have a second Moira?
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, how many Moiras do they have? I mean, I don't think that Cerebro can reach back through time.
No. I'm just saying, like, what if they made a backup Moira? Like, if one of them dies,
oh yeah,
does that reset?
Does that reset all the Moiras, or does like, does she have 10 more lives?
Well, no, I'm just literally thinking, like, if they just keep copying Moiras because they make it never end.
I guess they could.
Like, is the rule like as long as there's one Moira in the timeline,
right,
that the powers don't kick in? I'm guessing not.
I don't know,
because it's her power.
Right.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Anyway.
That's a cool idea.
Is it?
I think so. Or at the very least, it's cool to think about.
It's like messed up.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That really, well, it adds this other dimension to Hickman's story. Sean Conwell, given what they're doing in the movies and other media, Peter should just start getting into magical arts of Doctor Strange, make them a little more interesting. While Miles does the regular Spider-Man stuff.
They should do a, like, what if, or like 1602-esque book.
Yeah.
Where it's like takes place kind of like Amazing Fantasy right now, where it's like in a mystical setting. It could be in the past, or it could be in like a totally different style of realm.
Yeah.
In which Peter Parker ends up being like an apprentice.
Yeah. Of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
I love that. Nick Smith, Venom 2 is the superhero movie equivalent of Face Off. 2 over-the-top actors trying to overact each other. I loved it, but I can see that others don't. Fair enough. Young Goku over 9,000. Is it me, or is Moira really petty and maybe a bad guy?
So I think that it's more the fact that, don't forget how long this woman has lived and how many people she has watched die.
Yeah.
I think that
she's working with right now.
I think that changes you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that to her, she's like, what if none of this matters?
Right.
What if at the end it always, like, I'll just redo it again?
Right. Do it all over
Destiny
again.
said I only have 10, maybe 11 chances.
Yeah.
So if I met, like, I think it's just, to her, it's less about having relationships with anybody and more about just trying to get the outcomes that she needs.
Yeah, I think so too. Alex Cash. Hickman only wrote the first 4 issues of X-Men Infinity comic. Duggan has written the 2 most recent. Agree, it's a little meh. I did enjoy the Captain America Infinity comic, though. I'll have to check that out. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Definitely. Cameron F. Thoughts on New Coke Zero? I think it's better. I do like it more.
I like the branding on it. I like the red can.
I know you do. Yeah, I it's growing on me. Death Insanity. Isn't Mayday Parker dead in the 616 timeline? Killed by Norman Osborn, made stillborn, right? So isn't that Annie? Also, the hair is red, not brown. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. First of all, Annie's nothing. Secondly, it was switched with a stillborn. Like, no one who works at Marvel now remembers or cares.
There you go.
Young Goku over 9,000. Also, why wouldn't you want Destiny on your team to help the future mutants? She's on their side. It's like, what? I'm just questioning Moira is all.
So here's what I'm thinking is that, okay, the fewer people who know that Moira knows the future, the fewer people there are to possibly second guess everything that they're doing.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to just let the future proceed and maybe have a few people gently guiding it, but
Right.
everybody knows that, like, Moira knows that this could happen or that could happen or whatever could happen. Then, like, you're going to have people either outwardly going out to upset that timeline,
Yes.
or to change something, which could make something worse, or the people who are afraid to do anything for fear of causing that.
Exactly.
So I feel like that might be why.
Yeah, no, it's time travel rules. Like, you don't tell anyone you're a time traveler because you have a roadmap. If you tell people what's happening, they will disrupt the roadmap, however subtle, but it'll completely change the future.
Also, Destiny has a very, like, their goals may align, but I think Destiny has a different approach to achieving those goals.
Yeah, well, she's a villain, so like she's gonna have a very different approach than Moira, but certainly than the rest of her colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, if she was so smart and she was so friggin' from the future, or knows what's gonna happen, why the hell didn't she come up with Krakoa? New type JB Lee. Does Marvel know what to do with Kamala? She has a bad solo title, a meh video game, and doubts about the TV show. It's sadly fitting that she got hospitalized, her school destroyed and outlawed. I'm sure they do. I mean, like, people seem to enjoy it. I've not heard much in terms of like negativity about the Ms. Marvel book or that character in a long time. Ryan McKee or McD, sorry. Props and love to you guys at y'all at Comic Pop. You got me in big on this new X-Men status quo. Now Inferno #1 is the first single issue I've ever bought in a decade.
Yay! Nice. Well, welcome.
I think that was a good issue to check out.
To the Inferno.
That's right.
No, Inferno did a really good job of like catching you up on some stuff that folk might have missed, being like, hey, I get it. It's been a minute.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, so let's jump into Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I guess do you want to do the recommendations first? Or you want to do Venom 2?
Let's do the recommendations. Let's just get through those.
Sure. Okay. Obviously, Amazing Spider-Man #75 is coming out. I'm going to check that out. I'm not like, duh. I'm going to check out Dark Ages #2. It's been delayed heavily. It's finally here. Marvel Dark Ages #2. That's coming out presumably this Wednesday. Hooray. Justice League Infinity #4 is coming out. That's the DeMatteis Justice League animated series sequel. That's coming out. That's really exciting. And I think that's it. There was a title that I saw that I was like, I'm not going to read this, but I do appreciate it. And it's called Are You Afraid of the Dark Side? And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to Comixology Unlimited, there's going to be the first of the 3 new Scottober titles, digitally exclusive through Comixology, that are coming out. The first issue is We Have Demons #1, which is made from the team from Dark Knight's Metal. It's Scott Snyder, it's Greg Capullo, it's John Glapion. Like, everybody is involved in this book, and it's just a completely new original IP. We Have Demons. It features a young woman, and she is inheriting the family business to do dope ass stuff. I don't want to spoil anything about it. It's a really fun read. I went in cold. I really enjoyed it. It's ridiculous. It's also mature readers. It has there's actually a warning in the opening. It's like very hokey but really cute, where it's like, this book is gonna be pushing some boundaries. There's going to be gore. There's going to be cursing. There's going to be blood. There's going to be some mature themes. And it's going to be about faith.
Nice.
I was like, neat. And the design's fun. It's very, it's cool. So that's coming out this week as well. So check that out as well. Tiffany, what do you recommend?
I have so many books that are coming out this
I know
week.
you do.
New Mutants #22 is coming out, Excalibur #24, and then Hellions #16.
Oh my god, so much X-Men.
So much X-Men, but also like
these books are all getting canceled.
Some of my favorites here. We got Excalibur, Hellions, and I've been digging New Mutants as of late. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with Gabby, especially in conjunction with Destiny.
Yeah.
I also love the fact too that you know, Inferno, historically speaking, about Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
Havoc wanted her to be able to come back. They said,
Yeah.
no, you know, I like
yeah.
these little echoes here. I also want to give a shout out to The Nice House on the Lake #5. That'll be coming out. Swamp Thing #8 for Swamp Thing fans. The Me You Love in the Dark #3 is coming out, which will be the first one that'll be new for me.
Yes.
Excited. Defenders #3. If you're reading that crazy out there Defenders book that I really do kind of like.
I know you do.
It is a lot of fun. Also, because as we're like getting closer to Eternals, the movie coming out, we got Eternals books. So we got Eternals Celestia #1. I'm like, did I say that right? That's coming out. And then I also want to give I might have to read that Are You Afraid of the Dark Side? I can't even with this. What?
Jeremy Hahn, Ed Brisson, Elliot Kalin.
I have to purchase this. Is this their Halloween book?
It's a one-shot.
Oh, is this the Halloween book?
It's the Halloween book.
Oh, I'm definitely buying that. Oh, do I wait now or when it's like $1? Also, like, all right. So if you liked the horror comic, remember when DC had Vertigo, and then DC had Vertigo and Black Label, and then DC had Vertigo and Black Label that was publishing Hill House books, right? And then they stopped making Hill House books, and then they got rid of Vertigo, and they were like,
everything's Black Label now.
We still want to make horror comics that have nothing to do with Batman. They made DC Horror, which we saw the Conjuring book come out. There's another title that's starting up. So we're in October. It's peak spooky season, folks. I don't know what this is about at all, but I just want to give a shout out because I know we do have some folk out there who are always looking for some horror comics. So I want to just blast it out there. Soul Plumber #1 is coming out from the DC Horror, DC Comics. Don't know the creative team on this one, but it's #1. It's Marcus Parks with art by Henry Zabrowski.
No. It's written by Marcus Parks, Henry Zabrowski, and Ben Kissel.
It's written by 3 people.
Yep.
My apologies.
And I think John McCrae is the artist.
So just, if you're looking for some horror, maybe check that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of the dark side?
I know, right? What the hell? There's so much more down here, and it's just like, jeez.
Next week feels like it's going to be a heavy week, which is this week, I should say.
Yes.
This week, which is unfortunate because New York Comic Con is coming up.
That's right. So New York Comic Con is coming up.
That takes away so much time to read books.
Oh my God. And hey, listen, like if you are going to be at New York Comic Con, here's this thing for you. Come to the Absolute Comics panel. That's me and Benny, the comic historian, are going to be at on Friday at 5:15 p.m. If you want the deets, it's going to be in the stories here on the YouTube channel of ComicPop Returns and ComicPop Prime. You're also going to find it if Instagram ever comes back there, and also, of course, on Twitter and Discord and everywhere else we can find us on socials. Those are all in the doobly-doo below our video, so make sure to click on that and find out what we're doing and where we are. But we will be at New York Comic Con at least Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so we'll hopefully see you there. If you do see us, make a socially distanced hello, and we'll look forward to taking a picture with you and hanging out with you. Gotham City Critics says, will the Life Foundation symbiotes ever be good? If you mean good as in like good guys, as in heroes, I doubt it. And if you say good as in like they're going to be cool, again, no. So there you have it. Let's jump into Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage. And why shouldn't we let there be carnage? Because, I mean, it is time for some carnage here. Venom,
I don't know why when you said that, my brain put in the theme, like the opening theme for Attack on Titan.
That sounds good.
Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, directed by Andy Serkis, starring Tom Hardy and, of course, Woody Harrelson. This is a much anticipated sequel to the original Venom film, which we saw at least a year after it came out, thanks to streaming services.
Yeah.
And having seen the first Venom movie, I thought it was fine. It was like a decent enough, origin story separate from the MCU, so it gets to do its own thing, gets to have its own ideas, and it gets to explore some more like darker, or at the very least more like boundary pushing rating element that the MCU just doesn't get to do. So that was it did what it wanted to do. It set up a new franchise, and it established Venom as an anti-hero for a new generation.
Yeah.
So then we get a sequel a couple years later. Here we are, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I think that ultimately, if you're just running out to the theater and if you're not really sure if you should check it out, I would say it's probably worth waiting until it's on streaming. But it might be worth checking out because it is a spectacle and a half. I will say, if you are a theater junkie and you love the immersive experience, we saw it in a Dolby theater, and it is the loudest movie I've ever seen.
I was like, I love the Dolby theaters.
I know, me
I don't
too.
know if it was just our seats,
right? But it was just so
and
loud.
let's be honest, like I have okay. There's a little something about Tiffany. I have really weird ear canals. And like it makes sometimes hearing not
Difficult.
so easy for me at times. I don't have hearing loss, but like sometimes it's just hard. I literally had my hand pushed up against my left ear for part of it, to muffle it.
Oh, there was a moment where a character is about to use a power that would be loud. No spoilers right now. I will get into spoilers in a minute. And they primed up. I'm like, I had to, and I felt like an old person. But
I did too.
But it was very loud.
But we've done Dolby before, and I don't know if that was the movie's fault or the theater's
I will say,
fault.
from another person who saw the movie and didn't see it in the Dolby theater, they said it was really loud.
Okay, so like maybe Dolby wasn't the best call, although it had the most comfortable seats.
Easily. Well, plus it's assigned seating and you could distance, and it was great.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
But yeah, so I recommend it on streaming. Tiffany, do you recommend it?
I would say if you were a huge fan of the first one,
Yeah,
and you feel safe and you want to go for it, I think you'll probably enjoy this.
no doubt. If you loved Venom,
yeah,
you'll probably enjoy this.
I think
because
you probably will.
The tone is a little bit shifted. It's a little different from the last one.
It is a little different for sure.
Yeah.
For certain there. But I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is short though. That's the other thing too.
It is.
You're not.
It's less than. I think it's less than 90 minutes. I think it's like 80 something minutes.
I saw maybe. I don't know. That I can't tell you for certain, but it is on the shorter side too. So consider that as well.
Yeah. So now we can get into the spoilers. All right. So the riffraff is gone. Let's jump into it. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It is obviously going to be a Carnage origin. It's going to be expounding on some of the ideas.
I think our episode is longer than Carnage.
Easily. Yeah, no, this episode is longer than Venom, Let There Be Carnage. But we introduce Carnage. We introduce Carnage's love interest, Shriek, who, of course, if you are a Carnage fan from the 90s, then you remember Shriek. It introduces that. Those are the things. Those are the things that are in the movie. Also, there is an allusion to Toxin, another offspring of not Venom, but from Venom. I think is Toxin Venom's grandson, but in any case, there is another symbiote implication because, of course, the detective who would ultimately be the host of the original host for Toxin would be introduced in this movie. So you get that as well. And also changes a lot of the origins. Like it changes a lot of the origins for everybody. Carnage, Shriek, Eddie, Venom, everyone. Literally everybody in the Venom mythos gets a different origin. And, to fit the narrative, which I get. You can't just do the thing, right, from the comics. I mean, obviously you can, but, like, no one in Hollywood's going to do that. So, like, I get that. And I expected that. I expected, like, word of mouth to influence this movie in a big bad way. People loved the interplay between Tom Hardy and himself.
Yes.
From the first movie. So, like, you'd expect that to get ratcheted up. People love Carnage. Why do they love Carnage? Because, like, he's basically Joker. He's an anarchist. He loves carnage, chaos. He loves killing people. So you're going to see that. What else do you need? And I feel like that's kind of it. And that's kind of what you get with this movie, because there is no, like, B plot. Like, it is the movie. The movie is Venom fights Carnage eventually.
Yes. That's really what it is.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you want to follow, like, Eddie, there's a little bit of an Eddie plot where it's like Eddie succeeds one time. Like, he is handed an opportunity to succeed in his career, such that it is. We don't really get to see much of it at all.
No.
And we see that influence his relationships and his outlook and how that affects his relationship with the symbiote.
Yes.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think that there might be an element, a theme, where it's kind of about abusive relationships. I think that, like, ultimately, this movie is supposed to be, Sony's like, make it a fight. But I think that the Circus, Hardy, their co-writer, I think they want to talk about like abusive relationships, and because of like maybe studio interference or maybe just the desire to have it be fun, it kind of gets lost because like Eddie and Venom are in a abusive relationship. There's even a scene where Eddie points at Venom and says, "This is abuse. This is an abusive relationship." We see that Carnage is in an abusive relationship with himself and also Shriek, because Shriek has this one thing that makes her special, her Shriek powers, and Carnage hates that and wants to kill her for it.
Yeah.
So like that's abusive too.
It's funny. That's not. Yes, I see
Right.
that.
Like, but that, you see, superficially, yeah, that's there. But like, what does it say about that?
I thought it was like, okay, so it doesn't work with the Cletus Cassidy stuff, but I assumed that what they were trying to say with Eddie was that like Eddie is an incomplete human.
Yes.
And like his only reason for being is to become whole.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason to make that occur is with Venom.
Right.
Because as we see in the movie, he's the only individual that Venom can keep alive.
Yes, that's right. That's right. He's the only one who can handle
like
the symbiote.
they fit. Like they're two pieces of a puzzle that came together in just the right way. But that Eddie only succeeds because of Venom.
Right. And Venom can only exist or survive on this planet with Eddie.
Yeah. Now that doesn't necessarily work with the mirroring of Cletus and Carnage.
No.
But
that's there.
It's
there. But
there.
also Carnage has to be in the movie.
Yes.
And I'm glad he is, because like I think ultimately if I'm going to see a Venom movie, I hope it's Venom fighting Carnage.
See, okay. Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for.
I mean,
especially if the movie's called Let There Be Carnage.
I would be here to see Venom interacting with Spider-Man.
I would have expected that, but since that's not possible.
Well, for now.
Well, and I got a movie where that happened, and I didn't like that either.
That's fair.
So you know what? Let's try it your way, Sony. Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some good. I thought that the Michelle Williams who plays Anne, nice job.
She's fun.
She's I feel bad for her because like she is a fifth wheel as she was in the last movie, but she's like has to be because she's like Eddie's ex.
She doesn't have a whole lot to work with, and if I'm being honest, I feel like she may have had more because this movie felt kind of hacked. Like, I don't mean like hacky. I mean, like, it feels like the editor went at it with like a machete.
Oh, an 88-minute runtime is a thing that doesn't exist in today's world, especially when it comes to a superhero franchise film. There's no way there isn't a longer version of this movie.
I don't think it's 88 minutes.
Well, in any case, it's under 90.
We got at it around 11.
Yeah.
And we went at 9. And
there was 30 minutes.
There was literally 30 minutes of trail. I was like, I've forgotten.
Right.
I had forgotten.
What the hell we were seeing.
How many trailers there were.
Probably
so,
like 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's probably, but
because there's no post credits. There's a mid credits, but there's no post credits, so you don't have to stay for the credits.
Right, but like I felt like it was, you could feel edits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
You could feel edits, and if we're getting into speculator territory,
sure,
you could feel reshoots.
I didn't feel reshoots. I definitely felt the edits. I felt like there was more to do for certain characters that didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure at some point we'll see them, but yeah.
Right. Well, or maybe never.
Or maybe never.
But we'll talk about that.
Well, sometimes they like release it like deleted scenes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
right.
that
or you'll get
thing.
The circus cut.
I don't want the circus cut.
No.
And when you say that, all I can think of is clowns.
Yes.
Circus with an S, not a C.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a coworker who he likes, superhero movies, he likes
franchise pictures, he likes sci-fi, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all those kinds of things. And honestly, like, married, 2 kids.
Right.
They're into it.
Oh, they're into his hobby and interests.
Yeah, they're into the movies. They watch like all different shows on both sides of the Marvel,
of the
DC,
spectrum.
Doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. Video game fans, right?
Yeah.
He told me, I was like, "Oh, you guys gonna go see this at some point, possibly?" And he was like, "The only person in my household who's excited for this is my teenage son."
Right.
And I get it.
Totally.
And I get it. And I want to say that because this movie is literally not for me.
Absolutely.
It's not for me. And like, I knew that watching, I kind of knew that going into it. So like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, point out every single thing that I'm like, "Rawr," you know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like, I get it.
Right.
Like, it's not the type of movie for me.
Exactly.
Because I
Exactly.
do like this kind of thing,
Right.
typically.
Yeah.
I even like cheesy, terrible, bad movies. Like,
Right.
there's something about certain movies that I'm like, blah, ha, ha, ha. But this
Yeah.
movie just, I get, but I do understand that, like, folk like it.
Yes.
And, like, there could be something there.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, a wink and a nod.
Right.
That I'm not sure if everybody producing the movie is on the same page.
Yes. I think, and again, speculation only, but I think that Serkis, Hardy, the creatives involved in this movie were setting out to make a subversive, schlocky B movie.
Yeah.
I think they were like having fun with the material and seeing just how far they could go with it. I cite the characterization of Cletus Cassidy, the portrayal of his relationship with Shriek, his upbringing, the behavior between Venom and Eddie, the relationship between Eddie, Anne, and Dan, the fact that Anne and Dan rhyme, the fact that Carnage's power set is so all over the place,
Yes.
but like in a deliberately comedic way. You know, he doesn't like make dicks with his, proboscises, but he does make like a whirling dervish tornado, which never comes up again. And it has its own gravitational pull. And you can only do that in a movie that is deliberately trying to make you laugh.
Yeah.
With its ridiculousness.
With how far can we push it?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, like, and from the trailer, that's the tone. Like,
yeah. And
Venom the symbiote singing "Let's Call the Whole Thing Off" and making like the world's biggest, like, morning after breakfast.
Yep.
Is supposed to tell you a story about what to expect from this movie.
Sure. I mean, they even, I don't know why they did this, but Sony released the sequence
where Carnage,
Cletus becomes Carnage,
yes,
and then like go and like they showed a large portion of that scene.
Yeah, they showed the whole scene up until his breakout. Yes.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, so we knew.
Yeah,
we already knew. But I am hesitant to think, or reticent to think, that everyone involved at a higher level, like a producer level, or
an executive producer, like the studio executive level.
The studio understood that.
Yes.
Necessarily.
They did not. Or at the very least, maybe they were like, we'll tell you that you can have the movie you want. But at the end of the day, this is a franchise picture that we're making, and we do need to not even hit the beats, but more do what we think the audience wants and expects. Because, like, I think that the word of mouth about Venom 1 was, it's really silly and goofy, and if you turn your brain off, you'll enjoy it. And Tom Hardy acting against himself is funny and enjoyable.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, well, you can ratchet that up.
Yeah, we'll lean into it.
We'll lean into that, but also, like, I'm not going to deliberately make The Mask again.
Right. It's not quite like Tommy Wiseau making The Room and then leaning into it.
Into it being a dark comedy.
Like trying to make something else.
Right.
Or like Birdemic.
Birdemic, where it's
Birdemic
like
2.
Birdemic 2 is someone who's very aware they made Birdemic.
It's not quite that.
No.
Because I think a lot of the people involved with it originally had that thought.
Yeah. I think so.
And not everyone was on the same page. But now more people are understanding of that.
Yeah.
They're just making a very different style of movie. And, again, we're in spoiler territory, and then got rid of a character that could then be utilized. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Like, you're setting up the biggest villain in Venom's
history. I was
history.
surprised by that they would let that occur.
Yeah.
But I can't tell if that is also like a wink and a nod to superhero films doing that.
Right. I don't think so. I think that was
because of what he says right before that.
Right. Because Carnage's motivations are kind of all over the place, despite how one-dimensionally easy that could have been.
And that's why I am also wondering if there wasn't more to it,
more involved,
because like they
upstairs.
Tell Carange's story in an animated form, which I'm sure was like them thinking like Spider-Verse.
Yes.
When they did
By the way, great animation sequence, I gotta say.
Yeah,
like, really
super
fluid.
Fun.
Nice.
Super fun, right? But like we get Carnage, like we get Cletus Cassidy a little bit at the beginning, and then we get that, and then right at the end, at like in the third act, we get like like, oh, this is really what my motivation's all about. And for me, I just don't buy it. But
Don't buy
I
it.
think because we're missing footage.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing
Okay.
is like we got this movie and it's like a short ass movie, and I don't like at the end of the day, you do judge a movie by what you get, and what we got was a movie where a character's motivations are
Mhm.
unclear at best and hacky / poorly executed at worst. And so whether they meant for him to have any motivations or not, like it's unfortunately irrelevant. I feel
Yes.
like because I feel like the sincerity by which Woody Harrelson performs his finale in this movie
Yeah.
suggests that they didn't go for the joke. It wasn't like they were trying to lean into like we were friends, like we, like let's, I'm in on it.
Right.
I don't think he was in on it. I think that was like this is no, that's what it says on the page. That's his motivation, and it just doesn't ring authentic.
No.
So that was an issue for me. There were a number of issues for me. You might say that like most of the movie was an issue for me, but like you said, this isn't a movie for me.
It's not for me. And like, and I get that. So like, I don't listen. I don't want to hear folks. I don't want to be reading comments like you guys are haters, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm telling you right now, I recognize that this isn't a movie for me.
Right. Well, then why review it?
Because if I don't, then you're going to say you didn't talk about it. Do you see what you've done here? So now you're getting this. So either listen to it or don't. I can't make you not listen to this.
Right.
I can't make you listen to like it's
But, like,
totally up to like the person. We have to be informed, so we went and saw it.
Yeah. Well, also
right?
like we're gonna just because we disagree doesn't mean that we're ragging on you and your personal taste. And
Nope, not at all.
And I will say like
could you imagine if there are only like 3 directors?
Right.
Because it was like we all like the same things, and so we have 3 directors, or we have 1 director, and they make all the movies until they die, and then another person comes in because we all like the same.
And
thing.
they were like an apprentice, and so it just makes the same movie.
Right. So it's like no. The reason there are so many directors out there, the reason there's so many DOPs out there, the reason there are so many writers out there, and painters, and artists, and songwriters, and anything else is because we all have different tastes. Even food. You know what I mean? Like just because you like one thing that I don't doesn't mean that's bad.
True.
Or I'm bad.
Right.
Like,
right. I will say, I did not have a good time watching this movie. I think I can say that with certainty. I fear that the attempts at humor don't quite reach what they thought was what they were doing. Like I think that they were like, this is gonna land, and it didn't. I don't remember. We had a pretty. It wasn't a packed house, but it was a pretty.
There were people in there. I didn't hear like uproarious laughter.
I didn't
However,
hear any laughter.
There was so much sound.
There was so much sound. I couldn't hear a damn thing.
I can't say that for sure. And we were also several seats away from everyone.
Yeah, but I there were a few moments that like were deliberately like humorous and they didn't quite work.
I definitely like in my head chuckled a little bit. I'm not a big out loud laugher. Typically, you know what I mean? That's just not me.
I did laugh out loud at the sequence where Carange turns into the Tasmanian devil.
Well, yeah. I meant like there were a couple of moments like they
meant for you to laugh and
yeah, I actually really enjoyed when like Anne had Venom.
Yeah.
And like he's saying things and she just paraphrases it to something else.
That was actually and
like, I was like, that's cute. I like that.
That was one of those things where I'm like, hey, there you go. You got a thing to do.
Yeah. But
Mrs. Chen was fun. She does a nice job with it.
Yes.
Oh, we lost our background. Ta-da! It's a TV. We got you.
Oh. You figured it out. Is it still going to be up?
Maybe.
If I do it? I don't know. So, like I said, I recognize that this is not. No, it's not.
No.
So I'm just going to turn it off.
That's fair.
It's not a movie for me.
No.
It wasn't for me. But like, and if you liked it, that's cool. It doesn't take away.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from anything else that I enjoy.
Right.
And hopefully my not like, meeting at an airport with an open hug and a kiss on the cheek doesn't mean that it takes away from your enjoyment of it.
Right. And I can see a whole group of people who probably really, really enjoyed this movie.
Sure.
And I'm glad you did, and I'm glad it's for you. And I think that like Sony's learned a lesson to keep making movies like this, so they're going to do that. And and it's so different from like Into the Spider-Verse that I'm not like worried that it's like going to somehow infect the process and make weird
No, but
like Venom movies from now on.
There is like a little infection.
There is a little infection, and that is the like post or mid credit scene.
Mid credits.
So the mid credit scene is that Eddie was transported to the MCU. That's the friggin' MCU like connection. Is that like Eddie is in one he's in like a divey Mexican like hotel room, and then he blinks and he's now in like a nicer hotel room. It's funny because like it almost could be like its own kind of metaphor where it's like I went from this like dingy old disgusting thing to this like pretty more expensive place.
So that was for me the most like
baffling.
No, wink and nod moment once I came to realize what was occurring, because years ago when my family, my grandfather took a whole bunch of my family to Disney World, we stayed at one of the resort hotels. It was very nice. I could never do it again, except for when we got married. But at the time, when you got turn down service or room service, they would make a little towel animal for you.
Yeah.
And they were there. And it was like, for me,
he was in Disney World.
I immediately associated with it. He's in Disney's World.
Yeah, he might be. That
Not Disney World, but Disney,
yes, Disney's
like
universe.
like their world. And I was like, I don't think that's necessarily what they were doing. But for me personally, I was like, that's cute.
That might be a thing.
I don't know.
That's kind of brilliant.
I know hotels do that. It's kind of passe now.
Right.
But I just remember that.
Yeah.
And that I thought was so cute.
Yeah. Also, and so we're gonna like reverse integrate Spider-Man into Venom. Venom seemingly is in his own, and there's like speculation about like what it means.
Well, and I read someplace that like Andy Serkis didn't know what the post-credit scene was going to be till like
a week before they
days before they dropped it, because of like, I guess, not wanting to reveal anything from Spider-Man. So the fact is, I say 100% nobody knows what this means.
No.
Because they may not be able to actually tell you what it means in that without ruining something.
And it's because I think people are starting to wonder, like, will Venom be in No Way Home? I say no. Right. Because there's just no time.
Right. Or is it just like a little like, because he's a spider character, we're showing him Spider-Man and that's it.
Right.
And
no, they're setting it up. Venom 3 will be him fighting Spider-Man. There's no way it's not.
You think he's not going to go back?
No. Here's the thing. I think he will go back after he fights Spider-Man.
So I was thinking that he might go back immediately, like whenever, if or whatever is fixed, because who knows what this is going, what Spider-Man will bring us, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes back. Maybe the symbiote's like, I have to find him.
Or maybe I just like spiders now, so now I have the logo.
Right? There's something about it that like stirs something within him.
Well, he definitely licks the screen when he sees Peter Parker as Spider-Man. So like there is some kind of like
that guy.
That being said, my theory is that he's here now.
Mm-hmm. To stay.
That's why he said goodbye to Anne at the end, like he was never going to see her again, and why he's like, we have to go on the run, even though like I had a big climactic fight as Venom on a launch pad for like a rocket in the last movie, and that didn't get me arrested by the cops, but I had a secret quiet fight in a church surrounded by nobody, and that got me like chased by the cops. But he has to go on the run. He has to leave. I was really disappointed, by the way. There's a cute little like moment where he's on a beach at the end, and it's like, oh man, like when he was on the Exile Island in the Spider-Man comics. That was kind of cute. But also for me, I was like, oh my god, when they're like, we have to go on the run, I was thinking maybe he'll go to the underground city.
I thought the same thing.
And I was like, what a great status quo. He's going to become the lethal protector for the friggin' subterranean dwellers from San Francisco. Nope. He just goes to the MCU instead. The fact that like,
well, that would be hilarious too, because like Venom went to that like masquerade whatever costume thing.
Yes. Oh, the gay nightclub. That's what it is.
It was a nightclub?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like literally an underground, like they were underground, they were having a party.
Yeah.
I thought it was an underground thing.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Literally. And I thought that'd be hilarious if he brought him back there.
Right.
It's just, it was like a pop-up party kind of thing, and they're gone.
Right.
And it leads them to
like horses, like horse-drawn carriages and stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
So like the underground whatever. Like,
I wish it was.
I was like, Venom knows that's there.
That's there.
I didn't put together.
Eddie, you're going to love this place. I promise. It's going to be awesome. I got all these glow sticks.
I didn't put together it was a nightclub. I thought it was like...
It might have been a pop-up nightclub, but it was like, it's
I thought it was specifically underground. I don't know why I thought that. Okay.
Yeah. No,
And not like underground.
Because that's the thing is like for me, I'm like, this movie ain't for me. I didn't have a blast during most of it, but I appreciate that it's its own franchise and it's doing its own thing. And it has like, you did it, Sony. Like you've succeeded. Congratulations. You've managed to make Venom into a franchise. And you have no fewer than 6 more symbiotes after Carnage, because yes, Venom kills Carnage at the end, which is like, what? And an implication of Null in the mid-credit scene where he's like, "Oh, you don't know, I've been, I'm old,
like,
and there's
Null's coming.
Like the hive mind, Null is coming, and like there's no way that's not going to happen." And but like now maybe he won't, or maybe he'll go through the multiverse to do it. Like maybe the MCU will have to deal with Null. I don't know.
Yeah, or like maybe somehow the Carnage symbiote will get back out of.
Oh yeah, he'll
use the corpse.
There you go. Or we'll do Carnage all over again. New MCU version of Carnage.
Oh sure.
Or maybe Venom will only be in the MCU to fight Spider-Man and then go back to his franchise.
Right? I don't know.
And here's the problem about all this ending speculation is you're right. I don't think they know either.
I don't think they do.
I think they have no idea. I think they just did it.
Well, no, I think that Sony knows what they're going to do, or like they obviously know what happens in Spider-Man. But I think they're trying to tiptoe around leaking anything.
I think that this is better than the alternative, because I was worried that they were going to put Peter in the Venom universe, and I'll take this more.
Right.
So that's fine. Plus, like, we're no strangers to multiversal symbiotes, like, so that'll be neat to see, I guess, if they do it. I think that if you do, you will see Venom in a mid-credits sequence at the end of No Way Home.
I think you're right.
Because if they shot that, like, and they might have shot it with this year, they could shoot something else that's like just even more of like just a breadcrumb. It's not a scene. It's just like a sequence that they like shoot really quick that they could get to move on to the next thing. Because I think Venom 3 will be Spider-Man. I think if you do, because Venom 3 should be Carnage, but since they did Carnage in 2, you got to go Spider-Man. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is a great movie, but I do think that if you like Venom, you're going to enjoy it. So I do recommend it on streaming.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing if there are any like further deleted scenes that might bolster some of the
plot or some of the character motivations,
or like some of that, like, look, it's an action movie, so like I'm not necessarily looking for like for
more depth or
of
subtext
character or anything like that. What I did struggle with was it felt a little chaotic.
It did, and it's a Carnage movie, shouldn't it? Shouldn't it have no structure and be all over the place? Deb M says, loved Inferno. Kind of wish it was called something X so it would fit neatly.
Yeah.
Even though Inferno is a great title.
It is.
Hope Omnibus is called Book of X. That'd be great. I agree.
That'd be fine.
I agree with you on like every respect. Jordan Cooper. Hey guys, so good to catch you guys live. No question. Just want to say hi. Hope all the team ComicPop is doing well. We are. Thank you very much, man. Why try I sweat? Do you think Venom will now be in Spider-Man No Way Home? I think he'll be in a mid-credit scene, but no, I do not think he'll be in the movie. RK getting here late. Hate that I missed the weird Batman Reptilian stuff, but glad I could support you guys. Well, we're glad that you were able to join us.
I didn't go too much into it. I did just say that it's weird. It's a weird book.
Exactly.
It is a weird book.
It is a weird book.
I like it. It's
it's
not bad.
Ryan McD, any opinion on the crazy theory that Shriek is the introduction of mutants into the MCU due to the mid-credit scene shenanigans? No, and again, no. No, I don't think so. Tiffany?
No.
Cosmic Reader.
Well, no, because like I say no because again
we just left.
Literally no one who's saying these things has any idea what's going to happen in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right.
Or how it's going to be resolved at the end.
Yeah.
Because like I have my theory as to what's going on in Spider-Man, and that doesn't necessarily like work with what happened in this mid-credit scene, but it could also be who the hell cares,
right?
Because they're just having fun.
Yeah. Somebody asked, is it Superman compared to these movies, Superman 3, Superman 4, or Batman and Robin? It's Batman and Robin.
I thought it was Batman and Robin. And here's something a little fun about me. I hate that movie.
Yeah.
But I will also watch it.
Right. See, I won't, but I do hate that movie.
I think it's hot garbage.
It is.
But like sometimes I'm like,
let there be garbage.
Let there be garbage. Not my review of the Carange movie necessarily
on the poster.
On the poster, no, but like, so like, if anyone's giving me a hard time about this movie, just understand that like, I do like trashy things,
Yeah.
but I don't expect anyone else to like them. And
No.
I'm not saying that this is trash. I just like things that I'm like, I know someone thinks that that's bad.
It is schlock. Like, I guarantee you, if Mike Stacklasa saw it, he loved it.
Sure.
There's no question, because he's like, this is not samey. It is not like, yes.
Right.
This was the Malignant of superhero movies. Oh my God. Cosmic Reader, quick question. Is Shriek a mutant? Because she does about her have a mutation. No, I don't think so.
We also don't know.
Yeah,
because
we
meet them in boarding school or reform school, which I guess they were in there for longer than most people because of how old.
Well, and also, like, you know, yeah, because in 1996, that's when it's set. Cletus Cassidy is like a boy, but that couldn't be because Woody Harrelson was a full-grown adult in the 80s on Cheers. Joey Amorum says,
listen, Cletus had a rough life. He's got some city miles.
He's got some serious carnage miles.
He's got some city
Simbi
serial
miles.
Killer miles on him.
I heard YouTubers say this, and I don't think it's ridiculous. Do you think this crossover was part of Disney and Sony's deal to keep Spider-Man in the MCU? I don't think so. I think that it's more like them celebrating the fact they can do it. Like, I don't know if, because here's the thing, Sony did it.
I could see it.
I could see it too, but like Sony got the money. Like Venom made $800 million. You don't need to put him in the MCU anymore. Like, you have your own franchise. You
Right, but I think they also know that, like, you know, like what else is he gonna fight that doesn't involve
symbiotes?
Spider-Man directly,
right? Just the Life Foundation symbiotes. So you got Lasher and Phage and Toxin and Scream and Shriek's in there. She died, I think, but like
I don't know. Belle
Agony.
Fell on her. She might be okay.
Yeah. Agony. That's another one.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Phage?
I did say Phage.
Oh, you did say
I always say
Phage.
Phage. Lee Allen helping us out. Thank you very much, Lee. Then Lee mentions love the channels. That's both of them.
Thank you.
By the way, if you are watching this on youtube.com/ComicPop, make sure to subscribe to ComicPop Returns. You'll get this show and Elseworlds Exchange and GBU and Letters Page. All the other shows that aren't back issues here on ComicPop Returns. Check it out. And everything you guys do on them. What's the deal with Hickman and X-Men? Is he still guiding the story? I think it's more like he wrote the roadmap. He told them, he probably has like a list of like, don't do this, please don't do this.
Yeah, I'm sure he has like a story Bible now, but like since he is going to Substack, he won't really
have the time.
Yeah.
But it's only going to be a year. Only a year. He'll be back.
We'll see.
He's only under contract for a year. Silvery Cricket, let us just jump the shark for Venom 3. Full on Morgan Freeman, no. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Anybody. Yeah. I can't think of a null right now, but I'll think of one in a minute. Elizabeth Russell, I like the parts that showed Eddie trying to keep Venom under control, trying to show the more toxic side of the relationship. Yeah, that movie really like leaned into that. She also mentions, I wonder if Pat will come back as a villain anti-Venom instead of just as Toxin. Wanted to kill Eddie because he thinks he's a monster. Yeah, I could see him being anti-Venom or them doing some kind of anti-Venom thing with him. Yeah, definitely. I don't think we'll see him at least for 1 or 2 more movies, though. And I was not a fan of the actor who played him. So, like, I
wasn't really either.
I think they'll recast if they need to.
Unfortunately, I thought the actor who played him was kind of forgettable.
Easily.
Unfortunately.
Well, forgettable or distinctly not good. You know, like, there were moments where I'm like, woof. And then the other times I'm like, oh, yeah, you.
Yeah.
That was it. Cricket says, oh, no, Venom is going to hate Spider-Man because he blames him for never seeing his versions of his loved ones ever again. Yeah, right? What his motivation will be, I think it'll just be more like, they set it up in this movie, like maybe I can be on him.
I get it, because that is a nod for anyone who, for people who read comics, you know what I mean? You know that like they're like intrinsically tied to one another, right? But like, you know, Venom in this seems to have he's a duality to him. He's got a desire to eat brains, but also he wants to be a hero.
Right.
But at the end of the day, at the end of this movie, Eddie agreed to that.
Yeah.
So it's not like he sees a hero doing something heroic and is like, that guy.
Yeah. He'll eat brains.
He'll be a hero, and that's what I want to do.
Right. What?
But no, Eddie already decided to do it.
Yeah. So there's no reason for him to do that.
Maybe he just likes the suit.
Adam Thenhaw says, Curveball, do you think Earth X will ever be referenced on What If / the MCU, or will Alex Ross's royalties be too prohibitive? Keep the lights on. Will do. Thank you, Adam. I think anything's on the table. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't think right now, but I do think that like it's inevitable at this point that they'll do whatever.
Inevitability.
Yeah. Separation Anxiety is a great title for Venom 3, by the way.
What is it?
No, separation anxiety.
Oh, I thought that was their name.
Yeah. Listen, are you planning a visit to New York Comic Con? Well, on Saturday, October 9th, don't forget to check out legendary comic book creators Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo as they discuss their first creator-owned title from Comixology Originals. Plus, get ready to celebrate Scottober this October with 3 Scott Snyder debut titles coming to Comixology Unlimited. Try a 30-day trial of Comixology Unlimited and get access to all these Scott Snyder titles and over 40,000 comics, graphic novels, and manga. Go to Comixology.com/unlimited to get started today.
Nice.
Big thanks to our sponsor today's episode, obviously Comixology. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for sponsoring today's episode with your own super chats and asking questions and comments. Thank you everybody for watching, hanging out with us. Thank you for subscribing to both ComicPop and ComicPop Returns and giving these videos likes. We do appreciate it, and for using your self-control to be able to watch people who disagree with you, but still being able to treat them like human beings as we do with you as well. We do appreciate it. If you want more, go to twitch.tv/compop. Follow to watch Tiffany play video games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. What are you playing this week?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to be doing something spooky, but also near Comic-Con. So I'm going to figure it out between now and tomorrow, everybody.
Yeah. Therio God of Rage. Sorry for the late donation. Rough day. You're both amazing, Rage on. Rage on to you too, Therio. Thank you so much.
The day is getting better or has come to an end for you, and then tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Agreed. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next time with a whole new episode of Off the Rack.
Where'd you get this shirt?
This shirt, actually, I got it on tpublic.com/store/comicpop, but I don't think it's there anymore.
Okay.
Because I wasn't pleased with them, but like you can find it on TeePublic.
Okay.
It's just a Superman shirt.
Someone was asking.
It's a dope shirt. I love it.
I saw it in the chat.
I wish I had more of them, but yes, it's on TeePublic. Check it out there.
Yeah.
It's just look up Superman and you'll probably find it, unless they took it down.
It does look the graphic looks stronger digitally, like on here on video than it does on the actual shirt, because I'm looking at it.
I like it. I think it looks awesome.
No, it does look good. I meant like the print quality. It looks vibrant, more vibrant on.
Well, it stands out. Yeah. No, that's part of the reason why I wear it on more videos.
Like, the actual print is fine.
It is. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
You know how it is. And speaking of New York Comic Con, if you are going to be at New York Comic Con, we hope we will see you there. We're going to be there this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at least. And we're doing a panel, not us, unfortunately, but Absolute Comics is doing a panel. That's myself and Benny, the comic historian, on Friday at 5:15 p.m. All deets are available on various social medias. And if you're not sure, just message us someplace, and I'll let you know.
And if nothing else, you should show up, because I'm going to get Ben to come with us, and we're going to sit in the audience, and Ben's going to yell something.
That's right. You're going to get a ComicPop experience.
Ben will 100% embarrass me in this panel.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be at the panel or on the panel. I'm going to be sitting in the audience, and he will still embarrass me.
I promise you will get a ComicPop experience if you see us at New York Comic Con. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys next time. So long.
Bye.